Noah opened his eyes only to find out he'd been Isekai'd into a noble family. You'd think he hit the jackpot, but one look at his stat board and he was ready to catch some emotional damage. It was giving disappointed Asian parent energy, the kind of stats that make you want to reach for the slipper. Being the 13th prince, his main character moment arrived when his imperial father dropped by for a vibe check. Word on the street was Noah had the highest compatibility with water magic, so Big Papa gifted him a coastal territory as a starter pack. Right then, Noah saw his water magic rank. It was a straight-up E rank, pure trash. When the emperor asked to see his stats, Noah was shook, thinking he'd be yeeted to the dumpster for failing grades. But then, a literal miracle happened. His water stat jumped to SS rank, straight-up super VIP pro tier. A kid who still has baby fat having the highest water stats in history? That's some main character energy right there. The emperor was instantly sold. Turns out, the SS rank was a total hack triggered by the territory he just got. On Noah's private screen, it showed as ES, basically a built-in game mod. To make it even more broken, his maids were buffing his stats too. This skill is basically a pyramid scheme. The more subordinates you recruit, the more the CEO, Noah, gets buffed. He's currently level 1, but his ceiling is literally infinite. He's going to be OP later, but for now, he's still as weak as a snail. While having breakfast, his maid Evelyn dropped a nuke. His older brothers, Albert and Henry, were coming over. Noah knew these two had 0 riz and negative personality points. They were only there to start beef. He switched to defense mode and met them in the lounge. After some cringe small talk, Albert pulled out a gift. One look at the sword and Noah knew it was scam energy, totally cursed, with ghosts literally chilling around it. Albert acted all innocent batty, pretending he didn't know it was haunted. Being the younger bro, Noah couldn't just say L+ ratio to the crown prince, so he had to bite the bullet and take it, even though touching it usually means instant logout from life. As soon as he grabbed the hilt, Albert casually mentioned, "Oh, by the way, this is a water magic sword. About 120 knights have met their maker trying to use it." Noah's blood pressure spiked. But then Henry chimed in, "Don't sweat it, anyone who's mid just dies instantly. You're not dead, so you're valid." Turns out, Noah's SS rank water stat was carrying him, making him immune to the curse. Even though he survived, Noah was salty AF. Albert literally used him as a lab rat. But since he was low on the totem pole, he had to play it cool and wait for those two NPCs to leave. Later, while walking, he saw his maid Zoe looking like she just lost her entire streak. After some digging, Zoe confessed she wanted to quit to handle some family drama. A flood hit her hometown, her mom's farm got yeeted into the ocean, and they were broke. Zoe was planning to go work the streets in the red light district to buy a house. Noah shot that down immediately. "Stop that down, bad behavior right now." He then improvised a job title that sounded high-key fancy. Chief Backdoor Security Specialist for Zoe's mom. Salary, 10 Rene a month, way higher than the minimum wage. Zoe was shook because she'd never heard of such a job, but Noah was like, "I made it up, it's my bag, I spend it how I want. Who's gonna stop me?" He even threw in an old suburban house for free so they didn't have to worry about rent. His aide Dylan was down to help Noah buy the land, but the first problem hit them in the face. It would cost about 700,000 Rene. Zoe almost fainted at the price, and Noah didn't blame her. That's a massive bag. A regular commoner grinds all year just to make 120 Rene. Even though Noah is a Nepo baby, he only had 500,000 in his pocket. He was still 200k short of securing the deal. No other choice, he decided to sell the territory his dad gave him. Dylan panicked, trying to talk him out of it. Selling a royal gift under the table is basically slapping the emperor in the face, straight up treason. Noah knew, but he was ready to send it. He didn't care about the smoke from Big Papa as long as he could save the people. The next day, as Noah and his squad were prepping for the flood zone, brother Henry popped up. Unlike the toxic Albert, Henry was actually chill if you got to know him. He was actually worried and warned Noah that the cursed sword had its own mood. Even if Noah was immune, he still had to grind friendship points with the sword to use it safely. Noah took the advice to heart and headed to Dow Village. When he arrived, the minor flood damage was actually a total L. The place was so wrecked it looked like Kratos and Poseidon just had a 1v1 there. The villagers' property papers were all gone with the wind. Noah sent Dylan to the admin office to dig up the records so the sale would be smooth brain easy. While waiting, Noah went incognito to check the vibes. Zoe tried to stop him because princes don't touch grass/mud, but Noah gave her an ultimatum: come with me or stay in the carriage. Zoe had no choice but to follow as his bodyguard. The situation was mid-tier at best. Crops were gone, the village was facing a total famine. Without a harvest, they were all going to be homeless. Just then, a bell rang, and everyone ran to the square. Zoe figured it was charity food time since the Empire has a disaster fund. Noah was like, okay, social safety net, I see you, and went to grab a bowl. But after the first sip, he took back every nice thing he thought. I swear, British food memes look like gourmet meals compared to this disaster soup. The veggies were definitely expired. A local, not knowing Noah was a prince, thought he was just another refugee. He told Noah to stop complaining because the cooks didn't give a damn about health codes. Mid-convo, the speaker announced an inspector was coming. Zoe said it was Lord Gerald, a local official coming to check the food quality. Gerald walked up to the mystery stew. It looked like straight-up vomit, but since he wasn't eating it, he didn't care. He winked at the chef to send the premium stuff to his mansion, and the chef was nodding like a simp. Noah saw this clown behavior and his blood started boiling. He blocked Gerald's carriage and asked him straight up if he was embezzling the budget to feed the people pig slop. Gerald looked at Noah like he was some low-level mob, admitting he was indeed pocketing the tax money. What are you gonna do about it, kid? Hearing Gerald flex about robbing starving people made Noah go goblin mode. He was so mad even the cursed sword in its sheath started vibrating. Gerald got annoyed by this brat and drew his sword to delete him. But before he could even swing, the sword Leviathan broke out of its sheath and started floating next to Noah like a defense drone. Turns out, Noah's base sense of justice and rock solid will impress the sword. With the power buff, Noah swung his hand, light as a feather, and sent Gerald's head on a one-way trip away from his neck for the crime of being a corrupt boomer who tried to step to a prince. Right after, the local big boss, Lord Rowan, showed up. The guards were screaming to arrest Noah for murder. But as soon as Rowan saw Noah's face, he recognized the 13th prince and immediately hit the deck, begging for mercy. Noah said, "We need to have a little chat," which basically meant, "You're cooked, buddy. How did you let your subordinate act like this?" He told them Gerald had been uninstalled, but his cronies were still around, so Rowan better clean house. Also, cook some real food for the people, no more pig slop. After Noah closed the deal on the village, news reached Albert. The big bro's jaw dropped because Noah was using the cursed sword with 0 side effects. But he wasn't done yet, he's still cooking up some villain arc schemes for later. Meanwhile, Noah was summoned to the principal's office, the emperor's room. He was ready to get roasted for selling royal land to buy a trash village. But plot twist, the emperor actually thanked him. Big Papa was like, if you didn't step in, those people would have been finished. He realized his youngest son was actually a goat and a rare talent. He hyped Noah up to keep grinding for the empire. Noah was like, bet, and that's the end of episode 1, fam. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one, or you'll be stuck living in the Stone Age. The next day, Noah went into incognito mode at a hole-in-the-wall joint on Raid Street to vibe check a famous street singer. He snagged a prime seat and started acting like a human CCTV. Before long, a pink-haired girl took the stage and started serving vocals. Noah's brain started braining, he remembered the rumors, her name was Ali Che. Listening closely, she actually slayed, the vibes were immaculate. But with his pro ears, he could tell her technique was still a bit mid and needed some serious grinding. Still, he felt her main character energy, she wasn't just doing it for the clout, she was out here hustling to survive. Suddenly, the vibes were ruined when 3 absolute units stormed in like a literal tornado. They started causing a scene, making everyone stop to sip the tea. These goons started barking at Alice, asking why she was wasting time singing instead of making bank to pay off her parents' debt. Alice was shook, literally trembling. She stuttered that she hadn't secured the bag yet but was working overtime. The thugs then started hinting at some SUS alternative ways for a girl to pay back debt. The customers just sat there, sending thoughts and prayers because they were too scared to catch these hands. Before things got out of pocket, Noah stood up and chose violence, the verbal kind. He walked up and dropped some legal facts, forcing a kid to pay a parent's debt? That ain't it, chief. It's illegal. The thugs laughed him off, thinking Noah was just some new playing hero. One guy tried to get hands-on and grabbed Noah's shirt. Noah immediately clapped back with that Leviathan energy. A massive power surge radiated through the room, leaving everyone shook to their core. Seeing Noah's final boss power, the 3 thugs folded immediately and skedaddled before they got completely wrecked. After clearing out the NPCs, Noah went soft on Ali Che. He asked her how much she needed to survive. She spilled the tea, saying most of her cash went toward her mom's medical bills. Noah didn't hesitate, he secured the bag for her, promising 25 Rian a month so she could focus on her music career. He even promised a pay raise if she leveled up her vocals. Alice was literally crying tears of joy, thanking him a million times and promising not to let him down. That night, Noah got home to find the 3 thugs from earlier literally simping for forgiveness at the palace gates. They clearly realized he was the GOAT. Noah, unbothered, told the guards to yeet them out. A prince doesn't just do meet and greets with randoms. His brother Henry showed up, totally vibing with the decision. Henry said gatekeeping the royalty was the right move, don't let the commoners lower the palace's street cred. Noah then gave Henry a low-key debrief. He explained that by showing his face, those thugs would live in fear, which would keep Alice safe. Henry was floored by Noah's 4D chess moves. Even though he's the youngest, Noah was outcalculating everyone his age. Switching topics, Henry asked about the Leviathan sword. Word on the street was Noah had already mastered it. Noah confirmed it, humble bragging that it was all thanks to Henry's advice. To prove it, Noah pulled a glitch in the Matrix and summoned the sword out of thin air. Henry's jaw dropped, he'd never seen a flex like that. Noah explained it wasn't magic, just a high-level trick. He hid the sword in his sleeve and used its sentient vibes to resize it on command. Henry was once again left standing his little brother's talent. Later, outside the palace, the three goons were still camping out. One of them tried to catch Noah off guard, but Noah just released a tiny bit of his aura, and the dude immediately folded, apologizing like crazy. Henry was like, "Wait, what just happened?" And Noah was like, "Just a little sword energy to keep them in check." That evening, at a royal gala, Noah walked in and the whole room gave him a standing ovation. A lord named Radok spotted something on Noah's hip. Noah did a casual flex. "Oh, this? Just the Leviathan sword the crown prince gifted me." The room went wild. Everyone knew the Leviathan was a legendary picky eater when it came to owners. Some hater in the back called it wish.com fake, so Noah triggered the sword's power just a bit. The whole crowd turned pale, feeling the main character pressure. No more cap, everyone acknowledged Noah was the real deal. After that, the nobles lined up like it was a supreme drop just to talk to Noah. Everyone was throwing compliments his way, but Noah kept it Mr. Congeniality, being polite to everyone. Then came Brian Allen, CEO of Brian Company, and his daughter Cindy. Noah scanned them and his brain started braining again. Cindy wasn't his biological daughter, she was adopted. Even deeper, she used to be an unalive worker, slave. He caught the 1,000-yard stare and the hypervigilance typical of someone from the streets. Brian was shooketh that Noah read him like an open book. He knelt down and confessed, he bought Cindy as a slave but she was so big-brained and learned so fast that he adopted her. Noah was vibing with the positive energy. He loves a good zero-to-hero glow-up story. He invited them to pull up to his villa sometime to tell him more. The next day, Noah was chilling when he ran into his 8th brother, Oscar. After some small talk, Oscar invited Noah to go relic hunting, thrifting for treasure. Noah said bet, and they headed to Cobalt Street. Oscar warned him the place was full of scams and reps, and that spotting the real deal was a basic royal skill. They spent the whole day grinding but found nothing but mid items. Oscar was about to dip, but Noah spotted a book that looked fire and bought it. Oscar took one look and had a literal 5-second lag. It was a grimoire from Andrea, the legendary mage. Oscar was convinced it was worth a fortune. He asked how Noah knew. Truth is, Noah didn't know squat, he just noticed his win stat got a buff when he touched it, so he knew it was cracked. Noah had a hold my beer moment and decided to pump Leviathan's energy into the book. Suddenly, the book went rogue, hit the floor, and started flipping pages itself. Boom! It released the sealed spirit of the legendary mage right there. Oscar panicked and told Noah to run, but Noah was built different. He swung the Leviathan and one-shot the spirit. After the boss fight, Noah checked his stats, his win skill was now rank SS. He was like, "K, cool," while Oscar was frozen in shock. He couldn't believe his brother was literally out here using cheat codes to get this strong. Before they could catch their breath, a shopkeeper named Alan ran out and started simping. He saw the high-level combat and wanted to offer a real legendary loot. He led them inside and pulled out a SUS-looking ring. Rumor had it the ring picks its owner. If you aren't the one, it's just a basic accessory. Noah thought it sounded like a cash grab scam, but Alan swore it was legit because it kept teleporting back to the shop every time he sold it. Curious, Noah put it on. Immediately, a voice in his head told him the ring was triple S tier and he was the chosen one. The ring started glowing and transformed into a legendary armor set, making Noah look absolutely dripped out. Oscar and Alan were speechless. Noah was officially the chosen one. Noah tried to pay, but Oscar was like, "I got you," and covered the tab as a gift. Later, as Oscar was dropping Noah off, one of the thugs from the restaurant tried to sneak Noah for revenge. But the ring sensed the bad vibes and auto-generated a shield, blocking the hit. The carriage driver then absolutely wrecked the thug. Oscar, watching from the sidelines, was impressed. Noah was using his new gear smooth as butter, proving he'd already mastered the mechanics. That night, Noah went back to the diner to watch Ali Che. Mid-song, two drunks jumped on stage to harass her. Noah had to step in again, using the Leviathan to yeet the two guys out of the shop. They ran away half naked and terrified. After the cleanup, Noah told the owner to stop letting trash into the shop. The owner complained, "Look boss, money is money." Noah understood the assignment and pulled a boss move. He bought the entire restaurant for 1,000 rian on the spot. The owner was shook but secured the bag and agreed instantly. Alice came over to thank Noah, not knowing how to repay him for being her guardian angel. Noah just gave her a wholesome smile and said, "Don't worry about the debt. Just keep serving those vocals." I see the potential, do it for the culture, do it for the music. Alice smiled and agreed. Noah sat back down, enjoying Alicia's angelic voice as it filled the room, and that's the end of episode 2. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next drop. Check out the next video now. Time flies faster than a stray dog on a field. On a beautiful day, Noah Ararat welcomed Dead Murray, the governor of Hajo, a territory under Noah's management. According to the old head's tradition, the imperial family usually hands out land to princes so they can practice being daddy to the citizens, and the locals basically treat them like the ultimate bosses. This Murray dude is originally from Almeria but got transferred to Hajo. Per the court's orders, he's supposed to be out there doing flood control. But reality check, the mission is currently a massive fail. Hajo is a certified bag-getter land with rice for days because it's right next to a big river, but the catch is the water level rises whenever it feels like it's zero vibes. Murray complained that the reason this glitch isn't fixed is because Hajo hasn't received any investment capital. Even though the emperor gave the green light, the Ministry of Finance is just yap, leaving him on read and refusing to send the funds. Sensing the SUS energy, our talented young royal Noah didn't say a word. He zoomed straight to the mansion of the finance chief, Mabry. This old man was chillin', cutting steak, and had a major attitude problem despite hosting the emperor's son. Getting straight to business, Noah clapped back immediately, telling him to shut it if he was about to pull the "adults are talking, kids don't understand" card. That line completely unplugged Mabry. He realized this kid wasn't just a random NPC. With a forced laugh, Mabry explained that the flooding in Hajo made Emperor Ararat depressed, so His Majesty waived taxes for the territory all year. No taxes means no budget, duh. Noah asked him if he was trolling. Both Mabry and Murray were shook by how savage the kid was. Noah countered that taxes couldn't be collected because there was nothing to collect. That was a royal blessing, not an excuse to cut relief funds. Pure snake energy. Getting checked too hard, Mabry switched his script and confessed the National Treasury was dumping all the cash into a new summer resort for the emperor. Hearing this, Noah's blood boiled. Imagine prioritizing a vacation home over drowning citizens. Noah threatened to snitch directly to his old man, the emperor. Mabry turned pale, literally hitting the floor to beg for his life. Noah capped it off saying he'd let it slide only if the funds were sent to Hajo ASAP. Mabry ran like his life depended on it to process the transfer. Dead Murray was floored, having massive respect for the 6-year-old who made a high-ranking official kneel without even breaking a sweat. Work done, Noah got a notification for a meeting with his dad, Ararat. When they met, Noah got high-key praised for the Hajo situation. Noah was surprised, asking how his dad knew so fast since it just happened. The emperor lectured that information is a weapon. Son, you gotta grind in this department. Noah played it humble, saying he just did what was obvious. But his dad said doing the obvious is actually the hard part. Most people are just all talk, and few can make hard tasks look easy like him. He gave his 6-year-old son a proud good boy head pat. As Noah stood up, he noticed the demon sword Leviathan had auto-resized to fit his small frame. Noah realized his mansion was basically his dad's livestream camera. The emperor was worried about Noah holding a hot item like Leviathan, given its dark history. Remembering when Leviathan went feral and almost sent the whole room to the lobby with toxic gas, the emperor decided to hire Damian Noble, the strongest sword saint in the empire, as Noah's one-on-one tutor. Plot twist: Damian Noble demanded a 1v1 with Noah to check his stats. The emperor was like, bruh, he's just a kid. But Damian said he was checking talent, not skill. Noah was down for the smoke and attacked immediately. Right then, the memories of Leviathan's former masters surged. They exchanged blows, and Noah made the whole room drop their jaws when he disarmed his opponent. Noah thought, this sword is cracked, the previous owners must have been goats, I'm definitely buffed. But even more shocking, Damian Noble knelt before the emperor and declared he had 0 things to teach this kid. Even with a child's body, Noah's disarming technique was Grandmaster tier. Why even tutor him? It's like trying to teach Michael Jordan how to hoop. Hearing this, the emperor laughed his head off and instantly appointed Noah as the chief judge for this year's knight selection. Noah was like, wait, what, but still accepted the quest. The knight selection is the hottest event of the year, where street fighters brawl to change their lives, get titles, and join the elite. The winner becomes Judge Noah's subordinate. Getting a pro disciple would make Noah even stronger. The emperor asked, you want a tanky one or the winner? Noah went big, deleting the regional qualifiers and gathering all contestants in the capital to fight directly in front of him. Reason? He was afraid of missing hidden gems in those low-tier local leagues. Back home, Noah asked his maid Zoe if her village people were hyped to compete. Zoe said yes, it's their only one shot at a better life. But hearing Noah cancelled regional rounds, Zoe was sad happy. Her village was broke, and they had to crowdfund just to send one rep. Now they can't afford the overpriced capital city life. Noah heard that and instantly turned on rich kid mode, announcing he'd sponsor all travel and housing costs. Zoe was shook to the core. Noah called Dylan the butler and ordered him to buy every empty house in the capital. If that's not enough, build dorms. He even summoned merchants to handle the catering. Later, Noah met the merchant Byron Allen to settle the food bill. Seeing a suspiciously low price, Byron said it was a special discount for the 13th prince. Noah scoffed, telling him to stop the cap. He knew Byron had an ulterior motive. Byron felt totally exposed by a kid. Turns out, Byron wanted the tea on the maid recruitment happening at the palace. He wanted to plant a pretty girl from his side in there. Noah predicted that if Byron had an insider, he'd own the meta of info, and if the emperor simped for her, Byron would be set for life. Byron was sweating buckets because this kid knew everything. Noah clinched it. If she's a baddie, I'll recommend her. Byron was hyped, kneeling and asking to put Noah's crest on his shop sign, basically asking to be his underling publicly. Noah warned him, betray me and it's game over. On the way back, Noah was vibing because he gained a follower, but suddenly his water stats dropped. Sensing a glitch in Almeria, he did a quick U-turn back to the palace. There, Emperor Ararat was already waiting, like I knew you'd show up. It wasn't that he knew the details, just his endgame boss intuition. Intel rushed in. There's a riot in Almeria. About 5,000 people, basically a small army. By the way, the emperor low-key asked if his son wanted to solo the map and suppress the riot himself. But Noah shook his head no immediately, saying this match was hopeless because he's still green and hasn't seen the real world of the battlefield. If he gives an order and the soldiers disrespect him for being an inexperienced kid, it's a total L. The emperor admitted he was a bit shocked Noah turned down the command, even though the kid's analysis was based and objective. The old man asked who Noah wanted to send as a sub instead. Noah voted for Henry. Reason: with this size of riot, a face-tanking approach is the meta, and Henry is known as the sweatiest/most careful prince. He'll execute this play perfectly. The emperor felt it was a W choice and summoned Henry. A moment later, the 21-year-old fourth prince arrived for the quest. Sitting in the carriage with Noah, he wondered why his little bro didn't secure the bag on this easy chance. Their country is a nation of warriors, and people worship these combat feats. Right as he finished talking, Noah felt the enemy's presence thanks to Leviathan's hacks. He ordered an emergency stop. Realizing the target was himself, Noah didn't want to grief his brother Henry. Without hesitation, a group of hooded dudes armed to the teeth surrounded them, trying to trap the prince with water. Noah identified them as Almeria rebels. One guy tried to 1v1 Noah physically, but Noah instantly gave him a one-tap sword strike that sent him out of the game. Even so, the rest of the mob tried to gank the 13th prince, starting a team fight. But Noah's gameplay was too smooth, using Leviathan's power to carry the whole map, easily CCing every opponent until the last one. After the win, Henry was glazing his little brother for how fast he leveled up. According to Henry, these rebels were mostly cavalry on horses, which was a weird flex to see here. Also, the fourth prince wondered why they didn't keep them alive for interrogation. Noah explained he didn't confirm anyone, he just used Leviathan's aura to scare them into a faint after knocking them out. Otherwise, these rebels would likely self-delete before being questioned. Remembering his brother said the enemy were all cavalry, Noah felt something was off. Everyone knows Almeria is trash at producing warhorses. The next day, Noah summoned Byron Allen because this dude does business around Almeria. First, Noah gatekept him, saying the merchant would be dead meat if this leaked. Then he explained the riot situation and the high chance the enemy was mostly cavalry. After tossing the merchant 10,000 leans, Noah ordered him to buy out every single bit of horse fodder in the region. Byron Allen asked if he should buy human food too, and Noah gave a cold nope. According to Noah's math, Almeria has zero defense industry, and based on Henry's words, those warhorses were likely imported. And if they're imports, their local food supply will have a limit. Byron Allen argued that if they take all the food, the soldiers will just grief the innocent locals. But Noah just smirked, saying, that's exactly what I want. Totally simping for his master's big brain, Byron Allen promised to start this market manipulation campaign immediately. Don't forget to check the videos on the screen and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. Right after that, at the Imperial Palace headquarters, the old man Emperor Ararat found out that the rebels were planning to kidnap Noah as a hostage for ransom, basically a pay up or your son gets deleted type of deal. Young Noah was quick to snitch to his dad that the prisoner's confession was a bit too smooth, smelling like a major cap and total snake energy. The old man nodded, praising his son for having that main character detective energy, but capped it off by saying not to worry, he has his own way to check VAR and see who's actually capping. Noah was instantly shook, staying quiet because he had zero clues about the tea and cakes methods used in the dungeons. The emperor also emphasized that if the 13th prince actually got captured, the empire would be in a massive awkward situation. He also took a moment to give Noah a huge W for choosing to attack the livestock feed supply. Noah was confused like, wait, I just told them to buy all the grass for the horses to eat. The old man started analyzing like a literal god. For example, Prince Albert would have blocked all food to let the enemy starve as a warning. But Noah was thinking steps ahead, fearing the enemy would invade back, so he only blocked the horses and even used his own pocket money to do it. Absolute outplayed, 200 IQ move. Feeling hyped, the old man officially allowed Noah to add a sword symbol to his family crest. The kid was speechless because the Mills Empire is a land of war gods, and that sword symbol is as sacred as a YouTube diamond play button. Slapping it on without the big boss's permission is a one-way ticket to getting your head yeeted for faking the honor. Finally, the emperor ordered crews to issue the official directive. Noah was crying in the club, thanking him repeatedly. Leaving the parent-teacher conference, Noah immediately bumped into his advisor, Byron Allen. This dude said the amount of processed grain for animal feed is limited, so monopolizing the market is as easy as stealing candy. Meanwhile, the rebel boss Garhan is the type to keep receipts and hold a grudge forever, using any dirty trick in the book, so Noah needs to stay woke. While they were yapping, the maid Evelyn jumped in to interrupt, saying there's a dude covered in wounds laying low at the main gate, demanding to file a report ASAP. Turns out, it was a captain from Adra province who dragged his half-dead body all the way here. This bro reported that his boss is actually the rebel leader, but he said say no to the dress, refused to join the ops and ran here to expose them. Byron Allen just sighed like, bro, this news is ancient, you on Edge Network or what? Because Noah already knew. But Noah still played it classy, ordering the medics to give him the full VIP treatment and even giving him a hot bonus of 1,000 leans, a literal massive fortune. Byron was confused like, is this monopoly money or what? Seeing him drop cash like that. Noah explained it was a reward for loyalty. Dude was about to log out of the server but still crawled here to drop the intel. Certified valid. By evening, Zoe walked into the office looking pale as a ghost. Shaking, she said a stranger forced a bag of 500 leans on her and told her to make Noah drink the holy water she was holding. Noah realized the rebels were thirsty for him, so he asked why Zoe didn't just go through with it. Zoe started crying, swearing she'd never betray the CEO because he saved her whole village, but confessed she was terrified the ops would end her if she didn't follow the script. Seeing this, the rich kid Noah Ararat pulled out his pen, signed a check for 5,000 leans, 10 times the price the other guys offered, and slapped it right in Zoe's face. The maid was shook to the core and didn't dare take it. But Noah forced her to take the bag. The plot twist didn't stop there. Noah went full savage and drank the sleeping potion himself. He told Zoe to just hand him over to those guys, take the money, and run immediately, find a good hiding spot because they'd definitely try to delete her to keep her quiet. A while later, Noah woke up groggily in a secret base. Wait, never mind, he was in the back of a carriage. He overheard two guards discussing plan B. If Noah tried to escape, they'd shank him with their boss's dark dagger. Noah found his hands and feet tied up, so he summoned his pet Leviathan. Luckily, those noobs didn't strip the ring off his finger. He used Leviathan to slice through the ropes in one go. Looking around and realizing he was on a cargo wagon, Noah told Leviathan to check the cams and replay his memories. Turns out after the potion kicked in, the rebels swarmed the mansion. Zoe put on a whole Oscar-worthy performance to distract them and then dipped. The guys saw the prince was the main prize, so they didn't care about the maid, they just hog-tied Noah and tossed him on the truck. Getting the full picture, Noah climbed onto the roof of the carriage, appearing out of nowhere with his strapped weapon in front of the rebels who were just chilling around a campfire. One dude pulled his sword and started yapping some trash like, listen kid, your big bro isn't here to carry you. Noah didn't say a word, he just swung his sword with a clean strike, and that guy logged out so fast he didn't even have time for last words. Once it was over, Noah gave a bored sigh because the mission was a fail. He only caught some low-tier minions and couldn't extract any real tea. The rebels were salty as hell because of the kid's audacity and tried to jump him. Noah flipped the switch to Holy Sword mode combined with Leviathan's power, sending the whole enemy team to the respawn lobby in a heartbeat. After cleaning up the mess, Noah saw Zoe running toward him from a distance with a squad of imperial soldiers. He was like, wait, I told you to dip? Zoe cried and said she was simping for the CEO's safety too much to stay away. The soldiers looked at the pile of bodies with their jaws dropped, unable to believe Noah solo carried the whole fight. Noah told the captain to clear the bodies. But when the captain tried to loot a sword from one of the enemies, Noah screamed at him not to touch it. The whole squad flinched and backed off. A stream of dark bad vibes started oozing from the sword. Noah realized this was the cursed dagger they were mentioning earlier. Through Leviathan, he could feel the intense bloodlust and the grudges of the person who cursed this blade. The image of a man appeared. It was definitely Garhan, the final boss of the rebellion. Leviathan wasn't about to be outshined, it went full flex, releasing a massive burst of dark energy straight into the sky. This energy warped space itself, like an express shipping slap straight to Garhan's face wherever he was hiding, showing him what's up. The next day, as per usual, Noah was summoned by his parent to give a report. And just like always, the old man Ararat's intel network was faster than fiber optic internet. He already knew all the good deeds his son did yesterday. The first thing he did was give massive clout and praise, because the rebel leader who was doing just fine last night suddenly got his skull poked by a water beam out of nowhere. Of course, Emperor Ararat automatically assumed the suspect was none other than Noah and his demon sword. As for Noah, the kid was still low-key shook by his dad's lightning-fast tea gathering. Thinking back, yeah, Noah actually did that. With their leader gone, the Elmria rebels were like a headless chicken, and Big Bro Henry quickly finished the cleanup mission. After the battle, most of the shot callers were caught in 4K. In the throne room, in front of all the high-ranking officials, the savage Emperor Ararat ordered the horses to be ready for some medieval-style execution for the criminals' entire families. The nobles around him were nodding like picky chickens, totally vibing with this brutal punishment. Suddenly, Noah stood up to clap back, dropping a completely opposite opinion that left everyone floored. The old man's face went stiff, demanding a based explanation for this. Noah calmly pulled out the law books to talk facts. According to imperial law, the ringleader of treason gets beheaded, relatives within 3 generations and accomplices get hanged, and the minions get executed depending on their crime level. He emphasized that if the emperor starts playing jungle rules and breaking the law, the whole world would turn into absolute chaos. So, he asked his dad to rethink his main character moment. After a few seconds of loading, Emperor Ararat admitted his son was speaking pure facts. He thanked Noah for speaking up, but he was still salty, so he settled on this no medieval torture, but he'd apply the maximum possible legal sentence just to satisfy his grudge. Once that was settled, he handed the trash collection duty to Prime Minister Noise Hill. The whole court had their jaws on the floor at the 13th Prince's god-tier intervention. The citizens of the empire admired him even more, treating Noah like a certified prodigy. In that atmosphere, the emperor realized that thanks to his son, he avoided a historical L of being remembered as a tyrant. He admitted that while any kid could try to stop him, Noah's tier was different. He actually guided his dad toward the righteous path. To let the whole world know about his son's big brain, Emperor Ararat granted Noah the title of sage, a title never before seen in history for a prince. The old man even dropped a "wish you were born sooner" comment. The public went wild, hyping Noah up to the moon. By the way, the emperor checked in on the upcoming night selection to see what his son's game plan was. Noah kept it short, saying he already had an idea and would drop a demo for his dad to watch in a bit. Cut to the castle rooftop. Noah was just chilling, sipping tea, and then asked some soldiers to literally eat a bucket of water at him. When the first servant made a move, the ring on Noah's hand auto-activated, creating a magic shield that blocked the water instantly. The old man Ararat was completely stunned. The other 3 kept splashing, and every single time, the ring provided a 100% auto-block. After the demo, Noah explained the night exam will be candidates charging in to attack him to see how far they can actually push. The old man nodded, realizing this method lets Noah work smarter, not harder, to filter out the top-tier members. However, he did drop a warning: if they run into some tank who's strong enough to shatter the shield, it's game over. Noah gave a confident smirk, claiming he's already calculated everything, so his dad should just stay chill. Trusting his son's 200 IQ, the old man stopped gatekeeping and showered him with more praise. That evening, in a hidden corner of the palace, Prime Minister Noisehill whispered to the emperor that his accidental comment about wishing Noah was born sooner in front of everyone was a bit sus and dangerous. But Emperor Ararat was unbothered, seeing zero issues. Because this kid doesn't just give gold-tier advice on running the country, he also has the ability to delete people from a distance, something never seen in history. Moreover, just as expected, Noah's demon sword holds some terrifying power. Standing before a dark staircase, Emperor Ararat ordered crews to bring down the coffin sitting at the top. According to him, legends say the true seal of Leviathan is a forbidden thing that should never be broken. But who knows, with Noah's game-breaking skills, he might just rewrite history. Check out the videos on your screen right now and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode, fam. The Night Selection Festival finally pulled up. People from every dark corner of the empire swarmed the streets to catch the tea and see if the new era of knights actually had any riz. But this year, the crowd size was a total jump scare, packing the stands because word on the street was that Noah, the big brain prince, was the judge. Everyone wanted to check VAR and see if the hype was actually valid. Noah just stuck to the usual script, planning to use his defense ring to test the candidate's stats. So our guy was just chilling on stage, sipping tea like he was on vacation, when suddenly, some crash-out dude lunged at him trying to catch him lacking. But reality check, the ring auto-activated, popping a shield that hard blocked the attack instantly. The dude was salty as hell, swinging his sword like crazy and spamming skills, but the shield was tougher than rock's, 0 damage taken. The crowd below was floored, nodding along as they realized this was the power of capitalism. Wait, my bad, the power of the wise prince. The emperor, watching the map from above, had to admit this year's drama was way more fire than last year. But the main thing was he wanted to see if Noah could recruit anyone who was actually cracked. By sunset, another dude dumped all his mana trying to pull a fire-style move to roast Noah, but Noah just light-buffed a barrier and shut down the heat. That dude ran out of juice, lost power, and just hit the floor. Noah was bored, realizing nobody had outplayed the system yet, and was low-key hoping for a hidden gem to surprise him. Then the final contestant of the day showed up. Noah had zero expectations, thinking it was just another flop. A blonde girl stepped up and swung her sword. The shield blocked it as usual, but plot twist, this girl used her gorilla strength to shatter the shield, giving Noah a tiny scratch. Noah was shook to the core, literally. The guards were about to jump in and cancel the girl for treason, but Noah was like, "Nah, chill out fam, let her go." When asked for her name, she said it was Shirley Grant. Noah announced Shirley passed instantly. The whole stand was shook because literally nobody else passed all gay. The soldiers were even more confused why Noah gave a green card to the person who just gave him an OE. So they switched up and started glazing Noah, calling him a merciful king and all that extra stuff. Noah led Shirley back to the mansion. The girl knelt down, her spine literally shivering, panicking over how she'd be punished for accidentally hurting the prince. She was terrified of getting a life sentence because harming royalty even as a Miss Imputus a total L. But Noah just chuckled and told her to stop being Delulu, it was just a workplace accident and he wasn't holding a grudge. Then he demanded she use that same move to stab him again. Shirley was beyond confused but still followed the mission. She stood up and lunged with her sword. Noah popped his shield, and this time, the shield didn't break. Noah explained that he just let it happen earlier, but if he actually wanted to block it, he could. The reason was he wanted to test if she actually had the guts to follow orders without being scared of hurting him. A knight has to follow orders, if you're shook, you're useless. The fact that she dared to attack seriously a second time, even after she already drew blood, proved she had the stones and the drive-certified knight material. Hearing this, Shirley was shook to the core, not expecting Noah to be such a boomer thinker at such a young age. His leadership energy was main character status, calm and confident. Totally simping for his wisdom, the girl knelt on one knee, swearing lifelong loyalty and vowing to be Noah's ride or die. Noah nodded, satisfied. He peeped at his stat board and saw that after recruiting Shirley, his points were skyrocketing and his combat power was high-key leveling up. Right then, Zoe jumped in to announce that Dr. Croy had arrived. After checking him out, the doctor said the wound Shirley caused was basically a nothing burger, didn't even touch the bone. Shirley looked at the doctor with pure admiration because her village had 0 doctors. Noah founded SUS and asked why, and Shirley said her hometown was broke, no money for med school or internships. If anyone got sick, they just asked the elders to pray and perform magic to get through it. Noah's brain instantly hit a lightbulb moment, saying the fastest way was to train interns. He directed Shirley to recruit the big brain kids from the village to come here and have Croy take them on as apprentices to pass down the craft. Croy was down immediately, no questions asked. Noah covered the full package training costs. Shirley was crying in the club from being so touched, bowing down to thank the generous whale. The next morning, Shirley geared up in full armor and headed downstairs with that main character energy. Walking down the hallway, she overheard the maids spilling the tea about who Noah was going to marry. While the gossip was speaking, Zoe jumped in to shut them down, telling them to pipe down because the boss is only 6 years old. Why are they even talking about marriage? But a maid named Renee rolled her eyes, calling Zoe Delulu and saying other princes are already locking in a wife by 15. Zoe kept a total poker face. Rihanna saw this and immediately assumed Zoe had a massive crush on Noah, which is why she's been grinding on magic lately to flex on everyone. Zoe turned beet red and denied everything, claiming she's only studying to be useful to the boss standard simplord behavior. After saying that, Zoe was too embarrassed and yeeted herself out of there, leaving Rihanna to make up her own scenarios, while Shirley watched like damn, that's respect. Back to business, the knight selection was wrapped up. Noah received the report on the chosen ones. The old knight gave Noah massive clout, praising his eye for talent since they recruited nothing but top-tier units. Noah smirked, satisfied because the kingdom's future finally had some carry players. To celebrate the W, Noah decided to throw a rager tomorrow. He invited his old pal Ali Chi to perform that night to keep the vibes high, making it both fun and meaningful. Right when the party was popping and the bass was thumping, Byron dropped by to say what's up to Noah. Noah welcomed him with open arms, explaining that this party was partly for Byron too. The place was packed with big-shot merchants who have ties to the Royals, a golden opportunity for Byron to network, build clout, and expand his business bag. Byron nodded instantly, catching the deep meaning in the main character kindness of his boss. While everyone was still vibing and letting loose, Zoe rushed out to report a glitch Noah had received at SUS letter. This letter had bad vibes all over it, no sender's name, and the delivery guy dipped like his life depended on it as soon as he dropped it. Shirley warned that the letter might be strapped or a trap. Noah calmly pulled out his signature weapon Leviathan and tapped the letter to check VAR, looking for any bloodlust or viruses. Leviathan gave the green light, totally safe. Opening the letter, the content warned that the leftovers of the Elmrian rebels were up to some shady business again. The letter was short and sweet, not too many details, but Noah's brain processed it at 5G speed, connecting the dots and realizing the messenger was definitely an undercover mole gathering tea. After a bit of thinking, Noah guessed the sender was that Stan soldier who came to warn him about the rebellion before. Zoe agreed because that dude was a total Noah fanboy. But Noah was low-key panicking, saying this situation was high-key stressful. That soldier had zero professional training, and trying to play James Bond without the stats is a one-way ticket to logging out early. Noah was about to hop on the horn with his big bro Henry to shut things down before everything went south. But reality hit differently the next day. It was already too late. Noah got the bad news notification that the soldier's cover was blown and he'd been tortured to a pulp. Luckily, Henry's squad arrived just in time to keep him from getting deleted. Noah was self-loathing, wondering why he didn't catch on sooner. That soldier got brutalized just because he was a tank refusing to snitch even if it meant death. Noah thought to himself, bro, just spill the tea already, those secrets aren't worth more than the life of a loyal follower like you. Noah directed Zoe to tell Henry's team to save the soldier at all costs. Money is no object, pay whatever it takes, because Noah wasn't about to lose a ride or die subordinate like that. The next day, Noah took Shirley shopping for some thank you gifts for Henry after the cleanup mission. In the antique shop, the owner flexed a bunch of designer items, but Noah wasn't feeling any of them, keeping a total stone face. Suddenly, his eyes caught something covered under a cloth, so he told the owner to reveal it. The owner praised Noah for having main character taste. The cloth was flipped, revealing a glass goddess statue that was straight fire. This was a masterpiece by the famous artist Lindsay, a server-wide rare item with only 2 in existence. After peeping it for a bit, Noah locked in the deal instantly, dropping 10,000 renim without even haggling. Right after the payment went through, big bro Oscar appeared out of nowhere. He was visibly salty because Noah had sniped the exclusive item. The whole world only has 2, and Oscar already has 1 and was hunting the second to complete the set. Too bad he was slower than his little bro. Hearing that, Noah quietly walked over to the statue and boom! Smashed it into literal crumbs. Everyone was frozen, shook to the core because Noah just destroyed a priceless treasure. But Noah turned to the shop owner and told him to chill, the bill is already paid in full. Hearing this, Oscar's brain instantly hit a lightbulb moment. Since there were only 2 in the world and Noah just deleted 1, the one Oscar owns just became a 1-of-1 exclusive, and the value is going to the moon. Oscar nodded, admitting his little bro is a certified genius, catching massive respect for him once again. Leaving the shop, seeing Shirley looking all deep in thought, Noah told her to just spill it. Shirley was wondering the market manipulation play was top tier, but why did the boss have to eat a treasure like that? Noah dropped some wisdom, saying a statue is just a soulless object. The real treasures are people. Those who are down to give their whole life and heart, being 100% loyal even when things get sketchy like that soldier or Shirley, those are the actual national treasures. Hearing that, Shirley smirked with pure satisfaction, realizing Noah is that once-in-a-millennium leader the history books always hype up. The girl vowed to be loyal to her boss until her final breath. Noah laughed and said he was going to collect even more of these human treasures. Snap. 6 years later. Noah has successfully finished his glow up, looking way taller at a full 12 years old. He's being sent off by his squad of maids and royal servants, packing his bags and getting ready to hit the road for a new adventure. That's episode 5. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next part, and check out the next video at the link below. Bye bye. A few days after Noah's 12th birthday, Gigi, a total newbie in the maid squad, peered out the window and couldn't believe her eyes. The line of people waiting to give Noah gifts was stretching out forever, like they were camping for a new iPhone. It's been 3 days and 3 nights already with zero signs of stopping. Culturally shook, she turned to Zoe like, hello, what's the deal? Zoe replied with zero chill, it's normal, babe, last year this gifting session dragged on for a whole week, so this year is actually light work. The reason this whole process is so laggy is because every single gift has to be meticulously audited, and every sender's identity has to be checked properly to make sure nothing gets lost or swiped. At this age, Noah has already gone viral with that Leviathan Master Prince fame, earning massive respect from the entire empire. Per the Emperor's direct orders, Noah was yeeted straight into the Ministry of Military, the place that manages the royal army and all related ops. The big boss of this department is none other than Noah's big bro, Henry. Henry had previously summoned Noah via message. As soon as they met, Henry got straight to business, reporting that the southern border was glitching out, a rebellion had started. Per the court's orders, Knight Rias will lead the army to suppress the riot. Henry emphasized if the rebels see the court being soft or hesitant, they'll start being delulu about their own power. The best way is to show overwhelming force, sending a massive and decisive army is the only way to shut it down. Noah heard that and agreed. Rias was a certified W choice in Henry's squad. Rias is the biggest tank, with enough stats to lead this high-stress mission, so Noah gave it a double thumbs up. However, Noah accidentally blurted out to Rias, so what's the actual troop count? For real? Henry immediately caught Rias's SUS facial expression and snapped, spill it. What are you hiding? Rias's cover was blown, and he hit the floor begging for mercy, confessing he had faked the data. Henry was so tilted he was about to roast Rias into oblivion. Noah calmly explained, in the Royal Army, the budget is dropped based on the number of soldiers on paper. That's why these generals always pull the dirty buff move on the data, even counting merchants or civilians as soldiers just to farm money. Henry's blood pressure hit the ceiling. But Noah stopped his brother. Wait a minute, this might actually be a big brain opportunity. If we fluff the numbers, the rebels will look at us and catch an immediate ick. Seeing a massive army will totally kill their mood. Henry thought about it and realized it was a base take. Nodding and praising Noah for being so sharp, Noah asked Rias what the actual troop count was. Rias confessed there were about 2,000 pro soldiers. Noah said that number was fine, but there'd be drama if the soldiers didn't get enough eats. He wrote a letter for Rias to take to the Minister of Military, guaranteeing the boss would approve those ghost soldiers under the extra expenses category. Rias got to keep the surplus cash but had to swear a win or don't come back oath. Job done. Noah and Henry hopped in a carriage to cruise the streets. Henry reminded Noah that he still had zero real combat experience. Noah explained that a little prince like him is banned from the battlefield unless the emperor gives the green light, because princes are rare items. This kingdom has a curse where newborn princes often log out early, so anyone who survives that age is protected like a fragile egg. Henry advised Noah to farm some battlefield experience before managing his own territory. Noah agreed, saying as soon as the emperor drops the signal, he's hitting the road. Suddenly, the carriage braked hard. Skrrrt, a little girl in rags fell face first in front of the vehicle. From a nearby alley, a few dudes rushed out, grabbing her by the hair and dragging her away while yapping and yelling. Noah stepped out immediately, demanding those guys show their ID papers. Knowing for a fact these guys were illegal slave traders, the dudes just laughed, thinking Noah was just some rich kid playing hero. Thinking they could scare him off, they aggressively lunged forward to physically interact. Noah didn't say a word. Shing Leviathan left its scabbard in a split second. The tough guys were floored with speed and precision that was totally outplayed. After clearing the creeps, Noah turned to check if the girl was okay. Before he could do anything else, a random man stepped out from the shadows of the alley. He claimed to be the boss behind the slave ring in this area, flexing that he was protected by the first prince, Gilbert. He advised Noah to stay in his lane and retreat, hinting that poking his nose further would lead to some unreal consequences. Noah paused for a beat, loading the info. He realized immediately this guy was using Gilbert's name just for the clout to scare him. Looking closer, Noah saw the capping and lies leaking out everywhere. Without saying much, Noah lightly released Leviathan's aura. That pressure alone was enough to shatter the guy's chill completely. The boss glitched out, hitting the floor on his knees, unable to handle the heavy vibes weighing down on him. Instantly, Noah ordered the knights to haul the whole group to the station on charges of impersonating the first Prince Gilbert to do illegal business. Walking with Henry, Noah explained his big brain move if these guys were actually Gilbert's henchmen and he deleted them on the spot. Gilbert's reputation would be cooked. Everyone would gossip that the first prince is publicly gatekeeping slave trades. Instead, by treating them as imposters, he passed the vibe check of responsibility back to Gilbert to handle it himself. The tea stays spilled, but Noah doesn't have to start a direct beef. Henry heard this and was low-key floored by Noah's political riz. That evening, while Noah and Henry were having dinner, the butler stepped in with a letter from Gilbert addressed to Noah. The letter thanked him for catching the imposters and said they'd be taken to court the next morning. But before the trial could even start, the criminals had already logged out of life in their cells. After reading it, both Noah and Henry instantly knew what was up. The explanation was too convenient, the timing too perfect. It was obvious Gilbert was the one running the human trafficking ring and had silenced them to delete the evidence. Henry felt the ick from the corruption happening right under the royal family's nose. But Noah wasn't surprised. He understood that even though Gilbert is the oldest, since he's the son of a concubine, he basically has zero chance of ever reaching the throne. That saltiness pushed him to hunt for power in the shadows. When Noah explained this logic, Henry was shook for the second time. He couldn't believe his little bro was thinking like a seasoned pro, deep and calculated like a boomer in a kid's body. Afterward, Noah sat down in front of the rescued slaves. He gently told them he had handled everything behind the scenes, and they wouldn't be sold anymore. They were free to go wherever they wanted. However, seeing their faces looking totally lost, Noah caught the vibe immediately. They weren't happy, they looked stranded. It's one thing to be freed, but without a home or a plan, they didn't know how to survive. So Noah decided to lock in the deal. He used his own pocket money to buy them, but not as slaves, as people he'd sponsor, providing food, housing, and essentials. This time, they'd live like normal humans, not cargo. Hearing this, the kids were crying in the club, bowing down and totally speechless with gratitude. Then, Dylan led the squad away to start their new lives. The next day, Noah called Evelyn over and dropped some main character news. He announced her promotion to administrator of a small region in Elmria. Basically, she's an official government staffer now. Noah explained his territory was way too massive for him to solo carry, so he needed talented people to rep him in different areas. For Evelyn, this news was a total jump scare. Going from a maid to a government official in one step left her buffering, not knowing how to react. Noah was like, "I've been watching your gameplay for years, you're the MVP, the smartest and most resourceful of the bunch, that's why I picked you." Evelyn hesitated, confessing she'd rather stay and serve Noah directly than climb the corporate ladder. Noah understood the fangirl vibes but insisted she take the job, telling her he trusts her 100%. Feeling high-key validated, Evelyn's face lit up again and she confidently accepted the position. Afterward, Shirley started yapping, praising Noah's kindness. But before she could finish the sentence, Noah shut her down, telling her not to say that stuff out loud. Then he coldly walked away, leaving Shirley frozen for like 5 seconds. At the end of the day, Noah was summoned by the Emperor. The Emperor showered Noah with clout for protecting Gilbert's reputation and handling everything so smoothly. During the meeting, Noah also learned that Gilbert had voluntarily turned himself in to the authorities after the incident. Noah realized this was a high IQ play, confessing to seem clean and transparent, gaslighting everyone to whitewash his hands no matter how dark the truth was. The Emperor asked Noah if he got so much as a scratch. Noah was chill, saying I'm vibe ing. The Emperor nodded, saying if he were in Noah's shoes, he probably would have gone undercover, but that's a fail move because hesitating too long makes you toast. Right then, Noel interrupted, saying that hesitation is a major sin against the royal family. Noah stepped up to check VAR on the law immediately. He respectfully reminded Noel that according to imperial law, attacking a noble is only a felony if the noble's identity was public. If the attacker had no clue who the victim was, legally it's just handled as a basic street fight charge. The whole room went in shock. This was the second time the kid dared to publicly correct a high-ranking official on the law. Noah started sweating buckets, about to apologize because he was scared of making Noel look like a clown in front of the crowd. Before he could open his mouth, the Emperor started laughing his head off, turning to Noel and declaring I won the bet. Turns out the two old heads had a wager on whether Noah actually knew the law that deep. While the vibes were high, the Emperor dropped a game-changing decision appointing Noah as the new Minister of Justice. As soon as he said it, the whole room started clapping like crazy, while Noah stood there like a statue, totally shook. That night, Noah went to see Aleki's concert. Even though the music was fire and the atmosphere was lit, his brain was still stuck on what happened that morning. After thinking it over, Noah decided to push it all aside, enjoy the moment, and let the music lead the way for the rest of the night. The next day, Noah officially claimed the throne of the Minister of Justice chair. As soon as he arrived at the department, he was introduced to his right-hand man, Viney. You could tell just by looking at this guy that he was the MVP of daily operations around there. Since it was his first day on the job, Noah asked Viney to brief him on what exactly he was supposed to be doing. Viney started his presentation. The main mission is to coordinate courts across the empire. The Ministry of Justice handles the legal paperwork, makes sure judges aren't just yapping random verdicts, and keeps the system from glitching. For those extra large cases like treason, tradition says the minister has to personally drop the hammer on the criminals. This rule has been a thing since the rebellion 6 years ago. After hearing that, Noah nodded. The Ministry of Justice is basically administrative work and the Supreme Court combined. Small beef is handled by local courts, while the ministry deals with cases that affect the empire's backbone. Noah asked a lethal question. So, do you personally judge cases? Viney nodded, saying he does it all the time. Noah followed up with another blow. So, how much under-the-table cash do you secure in a year? The question had Viney buffering, but Noah eased him. Just chill, I'm just asking for the real tea. Spilling the facts gets you mercy. Seeing his boss was chill, Viney confessed he admitted he does earn extra on the side, with a total yearly side hustle income of about a few $100,000. He even flexed his professional code, absolutely zero bribes for murder cases because that's too risky. He only takes the bag for 50-50 cases where the evidence is blurry. Whoever drops the cash, he steers the verdict in that direction. Hearing this, Noah pulled out a check and swiped a line 5,000 rand. He handed it to Viney and said if he takes the money, he has to completely quit the addiction of corruption while Noah is minister. Noah capped it off. He wanted to follow the emperor's vision. The justice system has to be clean and disciplined. Even a little bit of corruption rots the whole empire. Viney's eyes lit up, finally understanding why people call Noah the wise prince. But here's a major plot twist. Viney pushed the check back, saying he didn't need the money anymore. He swore on his honor he'd never take a bribe again. Noah was low-key skeptical, but when he saw Viney's fire stat bar skyrocket, he knew his subordinate had officially turned over a new leaf. So the deal was locked. The brothers were on the same page. That night, Oscar threw a rager to celebrate Noah's new position. Guests from all over the empire swarmed the place, and the music was thumping. In the middle of the party, Noah was still thinking, why did the emperor pick him? Oscar guessed it was just because he was the favorite child getting a reward, but Noah shook his head, sensing a deeper conspiracy theory at play. He asked Oscar if he remembered when the empire almost went bankrupt back in the day. Oscar said back then it was because the process for picking the crown prince was ancient, and the backup princes were unemployed, so they started a riot. Since then, the law says every prince gets their own territory and a proper education. But Noah believed this Minister of Justice seat wasn't just an internship, it was the emperor's macro-level master plan. Oscar realized what Noah was getting at. If this appointment wasn't just for show, it meant the emperor was training Noah to be the crown prince. Before they could yap any further, the butler whispered in Oscar's ear. 100% verified. Tomorrow morning at the royal meeting, the emperor will announce Oscar as the Minister of Finance. So it was clear this was a systematic team-building play. Oscar reminded Noah, yo, this party is for you, put the politics on hold and just vibe. Noah nodded, but his brain was still running numbers non-stop about his future responsibilities. Meanwhile, in a slum in town, a SWAT-style armored squad swarmed a raggedy shack. Some dudes inside were having a secret meeting when they got jumped, left completely shook and caught in 4K. The report hit the emperor's desk. 167 targets captured while plotting to pressure the king to abdicate so they could put Crown Prince Albert on the throne ASAP. The internet was buzzing with rumors that Albert was the puppet master trying to snatch the throne, but the snitches confirmed there was zero evidence he was directly involved. With that info, the emperor decided Albert is off the hook, but the ringleader of the rebellion, the one who organized this drama, gets the death penalty. Putting that aside, the emperor started grading his successors. In his eyes, Gilbert and Albert were total L cases, zero chance of being king. On the flip side, Henry, Oscar, and Noah were still high potential seeds. Any of them could take the throne, as long as they passed the test he was cooking up. The next day, Noah received a detailed report of the arrests. Turns out every single person who got bagged was a longtime ally and associate of Albert. Noah locked in his conclusion Albert is definitely involved in this play. No cap, usually, when nobles commit crimes, they get a slap on the wrist or use a get-out-of-jail-free card to dodge the smoke. But for treason, the law says say no to mercy. Any noble caught up in it gets beheaded, specifically sliced at the waist for maximum clout. The law is clear. Noah paused to calculate. If Albert was officially charged and executed, this empire would be cooked. After all, he is the crown prince. If word got out that he was executed, the nobles would be shook to the core and start a riot immediately. If things got too intense, a full-scale civil war might break out across the provinces. Viney then low-key reminded Noah that the emperor had already dropped a shadow order only handle the people directly involved in the rebellion. This order absolutely avoided mentioning Albert's name, only referring to them generally as those arrested. Noah's brain instantly hit 5G speed, catching the old man's drift immediately. The emperor was low-key ghosting his favorite son Albert from this whole drama. Whether it was high-level strategy or just dad vibes, he clearly didn't want to bring the crown prince to the chopping block. Noah locked in bet. I'm ready to drop the hammer. The next morning, Noah knelt before the emperor to present the execution plan. He declared with zero chill every single one of the 167 warriors bagged for treason will be sent to the lobby immediately, no cap, no delays. Noah gave a based explanation since His Majesty only ordered to handle those actually arrested. Albert is technically not guilty on paper. Executing the squad ASAP would silence the tea-spillers and shut down any conspiracy theories digging into Albert's involvement. Doing this keeps the law's clout high while making sure the successor's seat doesn't start shaking. The emperor sat there listening, then nodded and praised Noah for knowing how to play the political game and balance the bag. He even dropped a hot bonus of 1,000 Rand on Noah's annual base salary. That afternoon, Noah and Shirley were heading home from work. Right at the mansion gate, the sixth sense signaled a major glitch. The gate was wide open, and the guards were floored and motionless. Without saying a word, Noah pulled out his hot item Leviathan and zoomed inside like a literal breeze. In the hall, he saw an assassin about to last hit an injured servant. Noah flash stepped behind him and sliced him into a permanent logout. The guy tried to pop a suicide pill to delete the evidence, but Noah used his ring's power to block his throat just in time. Right then, a whole mob of other assassins swarmed out from the hallway, trying to jump him, but Noah holding Leviathan is basically God mode. His power and precision stats were buffed to the ceiling. He was swinging that sword like a pro, sending every single one of them to meet their ancestors. The mansion map was cleared in a minute flat. After the combat, the report confirmed these weren't just random looters, they were the leftovers of Albert's faction. This was a targeted hit. Noah caught the vibe instantly. Albert wanted to silence these guys so they wouldn't spill the tea under interrogation. Realizing the situation, Noah decided to pull a massive big brain move, the self-harm strategy. He grabbed a sword and shanked himself once in the side. Then, he told Viney to report that these assassins were executed for the crime of assassinating a prince. This fake script turned them into royal attackers, protecting Albert from being exposed for treason while keeping the public peace. One arrow, two targets hit, absolute efficiency. Afterward, Viney took the squad to be publicly executed according to the script. Noah was taken to the ER to recover from his OE. The next day, Noah dragged his body to see the emperor for a report, but the old man already knew the real tea. Instead of listening to the report, he asked about Noah's wound. Noah said he was recovering and apologized for letting the incident happen, but the emperor was completely unbothered, saying normal soldiers don't have the stats to actually hurt you. Noah was shook instantly, knowing for a fact that the old man had already sniffed out his self-harm stunt. His intel network is seriously no joke. The two went for a walk outside, and the emperor started dropping some philosophy. Out of all the great emperors, 9 out of 10 end up dragging their own reputation through the mud when they get old. Noah caught the drift immediately. He was hinting at the crown prince's rebellion drama. It was clear he had zero trust left in Albert. But publicly deplatforming him after decades would be like slapping his own face, signaling the empire's downfall. After some deep calculating, Noah asked the emperor for a favor. He proposed appointing himself, Oscar, and Henry as prince ministers. At the same time, create a brand new, shiny title called Prince Prime Minister exclusively for Crown Prince Albert. At first, the emperor brushed it off, telling Noah to just focus on his recovery and stop worrying about extra stuff, but as he turned to walk away, Noah called out to him. He explained Albert has been the crown prince for over 30 years, waiting for the fruit to drop until he's moldy, which is why he got impatient and pulled that crash-out move. Giving him the prime minister title sounds high-key prestigious to soothe his ambition and give him the feeling he's getting closer to the throne. But in reality, the supreme power stays with the emperor. The new title is just clout. Without clout sounds fancy, but the actual authority is nerfed. Albert will think he's leveled up, but he won't actually hold any real power. The emperor paused, thinking this kid is low-key devious. He didn't expect Noah to have this kind of strategic big brain energy. He nodded in agreement, praising the idea for helping stabilize the situation, then gave Noah's head a proud pat. Noah breathed a sigh of relief, happy that the emperor caught on so fast. Truly, old ginger is the spiciest. To reward Noah, the emperor felt like money was too mid. He led him into the royal treasury and told him to take whatever he wanted. Noah let the Leviathan sword lead the way. Following the spiritual pull, he walked to a shelf and picked a small box. The emperor's jaw dropped when he saw it, completely stunned by his choice. As soon as the box opened, a massive surge of fire erupted, swallowing Noah in a sea of flames. That's the end of episode 7, remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss the next part, and check out the next video, besties. The fire suddenly twisted itself, swirling into a tiny orb and flying straight at Noah to catch him. Lacking our guy's brain hit 5G speed instantly. This wasn't some mid-tier fire, this was a high-spec item with a sentient ego just like Leviathan, and he had to manually tame it to use it. Without even hesitating, Noah snapped his fingers and summoned Leviathan, borrowing its power to solo the fire orb. Completely outplayed, the spark got flattened and compressed into a ring, dropping right into Noah's hand. Peeping at his status screen, Noah saw his fire stat zoom up to rank C, officially locking in the capture of his new favorite child. The Emperor stepped up, glazing Noah for his decisive play and lightning-fast taming skills. He introduced the flame orb's name as Luir. As soon as he slipped the ring on, Noah felt the internal power surging through his veins. The Emperor offered to find a sandbag for Noah to test Luir's damage output, but Noah declined, saying he already had his own training plan. Right in front of the Emperor, the young man toggled Luir mode, blasting fire straight at himself while simultaneously summoning Leviathan to tank the heat. The result was exactly as calculated. Luir was cracked, but Leviathan was still slightly more OP. After watching that, the Emperor was floored not just by the Luir capture, but by the skill of dual-wielding two top-tier power sources. Satisfied, he officially handed Luir over to Noah, charging him to use it to carry the Imperial team. A few days later, Noah was summoned again. The Emperor showed him a petition from his brother, Graham. Graham's son had been ruling his territory like a total main character and, while wasted, accidentally made someone log out of life. The Emperor admitted the crime was a major L, but Graham was asking to just wire a fine to pay for his son's mistake. Noah instantly diagnosed the legal and moral glitch. Imperial law is clear: if a kid commits a felony, the parents can't just throw money at it to delete the error, the law has to stay valid. The Emperor added that Graham quoted a price of 30,000 rian, a number 250 times the capital's annual income, which would be fire for relief funds for suppressing riots. He even suggested changing the law to set a precedent. Noah shut that down with zero chill. He argued that setting a precedent like that was basically promoting the idea that money can whitewash any sin. Doing that is just gatekeeping justice and aiding corruption. Only the nobles and the rich have the bag to pay fines, which would make the wealth gap before the law absolutely sus, nuking the moral foundation of the empire. Even though the budget was looking broke, Noah stood on business, insisting that the bag must be secured cleanly and transparently instead of selling out justice. The Emperor heard this and gave a base nod, admitting it made total sense and was glad Noah stopped him from a fail move. He praised Noah for being a real one and officially signed the promotion papers, leveling Noah up to Supreme Advisor. As soon as he got the rank, Noah dropped a new patch update. Instead of letting people wire money to dodge crimes, the Empire should allow donations in exchange for clout. Anyone who donates 1,000 rian gets an honorary knight trophy. But there had to be strict rules. The title is just for the aesthetic, no military power, no political yapping, and zero legal cheat codes allowed, plus a deep background check VAR to keep the criminals out. Noah analyzed that the whales with infinite cash usually thirst for fame more than items. If they sell reputation instead of legal immunity, they secure the cash while keeping the justice system valid. The Emperor was high-key glazing this genius move and immediately told Cruz to summon Oscar to ship the update. A bit later, Noah remembered he was still running against a deadline at the department and asked to dip. The Emperor was satisfied with his big brain energy and let him head out. While strolling through the palace, Noah ran into a squad of servants surrounding a massive crater, the masterpiece he left after his Luir fire test. Shizu reported that the servants were still shook from that top-tier performance, crowding around to measure the depth, and one clumsy NPC even fell right into the hole. Hearing someone caught an L, Noah immediately pulled out his bag and handed cash to Shizu, telling her to handle the medical bills and compensation properly. About to head out, Noah spotted Shizu holding a tightly sealed box. Inside was a bunch of dung beetles being shipped to the 16th prince, who had a hobby of making them 1v1 for entertainment. On the carriage ride home, that tiny detail made Noah's brain hit a lightbulb moment. If beetles can climb the ranks by throwing hands, maybe Leviathan and Luir could play that game too. Back at the crib, Noah summoned the avatars of Leviathan and Luir. His two favorite children appeared, tiny but with main character energy, and immediately went for the smoke. At first, the match was 50-50, but as they kept at it, the stat gap became obvious. Leviathan absolutely cooked Luir, securing a massive W. While watching, Noah realized they were both copy-pasting the exact moves of their former masters. From movement and timing to strategic plays, they were historical clones. Just by watching them combat, Noah was leaking a bunch of martial arts skills he never even knew existed. A little maid standing nearby had her jaw on the floor from the top-tier brawl, shyly apologizing for lurking and watching for free. Noah was chill about it, saying it was no biggie. After a few sparring rounds, Noah was shook, his level randomly spiked. He processed the theory these one battles between Leviathan and Luir were pumping stats directly into him. To verify, he ordered the two babies to keep throwing hands. This time Luir pulled a reverse card, folding Leviathan. Noah checked his status, his fire skill just leapfrogged to rank B. Zoe saw the hype and wanted to join the grind, using her newly learned skills to buff Noah. Once the effect wore off, his level jumped again. Zoe was floored. If they just kept forcing these sacred beasts to solo, they could probably infinite glitch their way to max rank, but Noah shook his head and analyzed life isn't that easy, bestie. If you just farm the same opponent, the XP drops become trash when the lessons get mid, the level up speed lags. There's definitely a more complex algorithm behind this, he just hasn't fully decoded it yet. To maximize the gains, Noah locked in he had to hunt for more high-spec magic items like Leviathan and Luir. The more unique powers and cracked secret moves he collected, the more he could hack his level in a way others couldn't even copy-paste. Right then, Henry showed up, blazing the invention of making Leviathan and Luir scrap for XP. After the praise, Henry placed a mint condition box on the table and dropped the good news: the monster nest was finally ripe, meaning it was time for Noah's debut in his first expedition. Henry gave the presentation that Monster Nest is a training ground sponsored by the Ministry of Military, set up as a starter quest for the imperial princes to check their leadership and survival stats in a real combat environment. He pointed at the box. Open it and you'll see a digital display. The number shown there is the exact troop count Noah is allowed to bring. Ideally, you don't want to overpull or be undergeared. Bringing too many soldiers wastes the eats, but bringing too few is a total fail. Noah opened the box. A glowing number popped up. The number 1. Say what? Only one person for this mission, and the chosen one was none other than Noah himself. Henry looked at the result with his jaw dropped. This machine auto-calculates the force based on tankiness and risk. Since one showed up, the machine basically declared Noah can solo this whole expedition. Henry once again had to stand his little brother's absolute outplayed energy. That evening, Zoe announced a guest had arrived. Noah stepped out and saw Rias waiting. Rias dropped a bombshell: Noah's debut expedition was being delayed. When the Emperor heard the result was the number 1, he was shook to the core. He figured a cracked result like this couldn't be kept on the down low, so he wanted to turn the expedition into a massive, once-in-a-century event to hype Noah up in front of the whole empire. Hearing this, Noah caught the drift immediately. This trip wasn't going live anytime soon. Planning an event of that tier meant a mountain of prep work. The next day, Noah took Shirley back to the shop to buy a protection ring. As soon as he saw Alan, he asked if there were any magic items with a sentient ego like Leviathan or Lutier. Alan shook his head, saying that kind of loot is ultra rare and currently out of stock. Noah gave Shirley a wink, and the girl slammed a heavy bag of cash onto the table. As he turned to leave, Noah dropped a line: hit me up the second you get the goods. In his head, he was already running numbers on how to grind levels before the expedition officially started. On the way back, Noah ran into a noble who was schooling a poor merchant for daring to sell an item to someone else instead of him. Noah asked, "What's the big beef, big bro?" The noble recognized Noah as the Minister of Justice and identified himself as Dalem, from the prestigious Gilbert family. Dalem flexed hard: "Us nobles do whatever we want, we only fear treason charges, nobody cares about the small stuff." He was betting that slapping around a low-tier merchant wouldn't have any consequences. Noah read him instantly. Dalem was drunk on power main character vibes. He remembered the unwritten rule: even a noble has to bow when meeting a real deal prince. Noah threw some shade: "So, why have you been yapping at me this whole time without bowing once?" Dalem froze, realizing he'd messed up. But Noah poured cold water on him. "Too late, bro." He signaled Shirley to bag Dalem. Shirley lunged and pinned him to the ground. Noah passed the verdict: "You've dragged the Gilbert name through the mud, so you're getting handled by imperial law." Dalem was tied to a tree in the middle of the market, and Shirley gave him a reality check with a whip in front of the whole crowd. This beatdown was both serving justice and a trigger warning to any other arrogant punks. Once it was over, Noah ordered Dalem to be tossed to the security forces for further processing. Then, suddenly, he told Shirley to break out the handcuffs, locked himself up, and zoomed over to Prince Gilbert's mansion. When he arrived, he opened with, "I'm here to personally apologize for handling Dalem without giving you a heads up." Coyle, Gilbert's butler, led Noah inside. Noah stood in front of Gilbert, lowering his voice to apologize. Gilbert waved it off. "Small fry, that dude was kicked out of the clan ages ago for being a professional hater." Hearing that, Noah unlocked the cuffs. Gilbert even glazed Noah for helping protect the family's clout in public. Leaving the mansion, Shirley was confused why the boss had to handcuff himself just to say sorry. Noah dropped some wisdom: it was high-key necessary. Even if Gilbert acts chill, I know for a fact he's salty. But he also knows that beefing with the Emperor's favorite prince is a total fail. I went to apologize first to stroke his ego and shut down any political fires before they started. Shirley heard that and was low-key floored by the riz. The next day, Dylan reported a guest from the Royal Ministry of Internal Affairs had arrived. Noah went to greet him. The guy introduced himself as Don Oritz, heavily praising how Noah handled the market drama yesterday. Then he pulled a total 180-degree turn: "Boss, let me join your squad as a soldier." Noah was stuck buffering, not getting why someone from another department would want to switch lanes and work for him. Don made a SUS excuse: "I'm just such a stan of your talent, I don't care about the department." Noah was wary but eventually gave a base nod. Don was hyped and dipped. As Don walked away, Noah felt the ick. This guy smelled suspiciously like a mole. He told Dylan, "Investigate this dude thoroughly for me, check VAR from head to toe, don't miss a single detail." That's the full episode 8 for you. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next part and check out the next few videos. The final boss in the skin of a 6-year-old prince officially outplayed the entire palace with a plot twist so devious it would make the devil cry. Fam, hit that like and subscribe button to support the shop. Now let's get into it. A moment later, while young Noah was gearing up, his assistant Dylan rushed in to drop some bombshell intel. Turns out that innocent-looking dude Don was actually a sleeper spy planted by Big Bro Gilbert to lurk for tea and leak secrets back to his master. Dylan thought his boss would be shook, but Noah kept a total poker face. He told Dylan to keep his mouth shut and act like they knew zero, so they could reverse Uno and manipulate the mole. Dylan was floored, not getting how a 6-year-old could read people that perfectly, but Noah knew the real reason. When Don took the job, he low-key checked the system stat board and saw the loyalty points didn't budge even a little bit. That one tiny detail was all Noah needed to catch the traitor in 4K. A bit later, Dylan reported that someone from Bardsley's shop wanted an audience because they'd found the treasure Noah was hunting. He smirked. The 10,000 Rian bait had finally worked. The merchant Alan stepped in, having a massive, cloth-covered painting carried in. Noah frowned because he clearly ordered a magic item, not some fine art. When the cloth was flipped, it was an ancient portrait of a sleeping blue-haired girl named Hiwa. As soon as he stepped close, Noah's sword Leviathan started vibrating like crazy, signaling the painting was cursed. Alan even brought a dupe painting for comparison. Thanks to Leviathan, Noah could clearly feel the original Hiwa radiating a mysterious dark aura. The two looked identical, but the real deal was a cursed relic that could literally age over the years. Noah didn't hesitate. He pulled Leviathan and sliced straight at the painting. Alan almost had a heart attack fearing the merch was ruined. However, the strike didn't destroy the art, it slashed the curse. The sleeping girl inside slowly woke up and stepped into the real world. Hiwa stood tall before them. Alan was shaking while Noah stayed chill. Hiwa spilled a bunch of tea in a strange language, explaining the portrait was painted with her actual flesh and blood. Some painter had deleted her when she was a kid and mixed her blood into the pigment. Alan was buffering from the shock. Hiwa offered to pay him back for the rescue. Noah just said, "Swear loyalty to me." Hiwa agreed instantly. Noah checked the system again, saw his earth element stat move up, and confirmed she was fully tamed. Hiwa has some cracked abilities, including a shapeshift skill. She demoed it by turning into an exact clone of Alan, even making part of her body transparent. The merchant was low-key traumatized seeing his own face copy-pasted so perfectly. Noah nodded, rating the shapeshift as a god-tier move, then told Alan to name his price and hit him up the second some more cracked loot drops. Alan was quick to agree. The next day, the noble Byron pulled up to flex that Ada, the girl he recommended, had successfully caught the Emperor's eye and was officially an imperial maid. He brought a statue as a thank you gift for Noah. Ada was the one Byron planted in the palace following Noah's big brain advice. Noah was surprised this girl climbed the maid ranks that fast. He immediately poured cold water on the mood, calling out Byron for dropping insane amounts of cash, because one look at the stats told him this gear was worth over 30,000 Rian. Byron flinched because Noah's price check was 100% accurate. He made an excuse that he bought the gift because he was hyped about Ada's promotion and hoped one day she'd reach concubine tier. The harem has 4 levels: maid, mistress, concubine, and the final boss, the empress. Concubines level up based on how much the emperor simps for them and the status of their sons. A prime example is Noah's mom, who hit concubine rank after Noah got his wise prince title. There's only one empress slot, so concubine is the highest ceiling Ada can touch. Byron was nodding, dreaming about catching some of that clout for himself. Noah instantly nuked the delusion, explaining that reaching concubine rank is a literal bloodbath of political warfare. Other concubines are toxic as hell when fighting for attention. Noah gave an example: if some hater plays dirty and swaps Ada's perfume for a scent the emperor absolutely despises, her career is basically game over right then and there. Therefore, Noah advised Byron to give Ada a reality check and more training. Byron was sweating, taking notes before dipping. Next, Noah handed the maid Zoe a letter to take to his mother along with 10,000 Rian. Zoe was confused because the assistant Dylan was clearly the meta choice for a trip to the capital. However, Noah explained the law bans men from lurking in the inner palace where his mom lives. That's why Noah only gets to visit his mom once a year. Noah told Zoe to leak the info to his mother that he's currently the godfather backing Ada. Zoe's brain hit a lightbulb moment, realizing her boss was planning to use his own biomom as a stepping stone for political goals. Noah straight up admitted it, reminding Zoe that in the royal family, status and bags always come before family vibes. If Ada levels up, she becomes a S-tier ally for his mom. Zoe was a bit shook by the cold energy but still promised to deliver the message exactly as told. Right before Zoe dipped, Noah checked in on her mom's situation. Zoe mentioned her mom was doing fine, but there's been some paranormal activity lately. Last night, she heard some SUS noises and went to investigate, spotting a shadow lurking nearby. She was dead serious that someone was moving in and out like a ghost at night. Noah smirked, rating this intel as high-key useful, and told Zoe to tell her mom to keep her mouth shut and play along for the bag. That night, just as Zoe's mom was about to lock the gate, the spy donort spawned out of nowhere behind her, using a poison needle to make her log out on the spot. Right before Zoe dipped, Noah checked in on her mom's situation. Zoe mentioned her mom was doing fine, but there's been some paranormal activity lately. Last night, she heard some SUS noises and went to investigate, spotting a shadow lurking nearby. She was dead serious that someone was moving in and out like a ghost at night. Noah smirked, rating this intel as high-key useful, and told Zoe to tell her mom to keep her mouth shut and play along for the bag. That night, just as Zoe's mom was about to lock the gate, the spy donort spawned out of nowhere behind her, using a poison needle to make her log out on the spot. Noah figured Zoe should ghost from here for a while to avoid getting deleted again, so Noah ordered both Zoe and her mom on a long-term vacation. The two were hyped, thanking him non-stop. Zoe was worried, asking the boss if letting Dawn slide like that was actually safe. Noah just gave a cold laugh, telling her to chill because Hiwa was already trailing him like a shadow. The next day, Dawn woke up wrapped in bandages like a mummy, jumping out of his skin when he saw Noah sitting right next to him. Dawn had partial amnesia and couldn't process why he was there. So Noah replayed the script to help him remember the tea. Noah reminded him that after he reported the kill on Zoe's mom, he was backstabbed by his own squad's middlemen and tossed into the river to delete the evidence because he failed the mission. Noah claimed he was the one who fished him out and brought him back to save his life. Dawn was shivering with respect for Noah's big brain, realizing he truly deserved the Wise Prince title for predicting every move. Noah advised Don not to waste his life for nothing, he could still swear loyalty and work under his wing. Don was caught in his feels because Noah was giving him a second chance at life, crying while thanking him. Noah low-key checked the stat board and saw his wind element points go up, confirming Don had officially turned into a loyalist. Noah told Don to just focus on healing, and afterward, he'd fake a new name and identity for him. Noah planned to turn him into the adopted son of a broke noble family and then plant him in a local governor seat to enjoy the life. Don was beyond grateful and decided to sell out his old boss, dropping some shook secret intel. The first Prince Gilbert had served the Emperor a very interesting gift. After hearing the tea, Noah's face went pale from the shock. He immediately hightailed it to the royal palace on horseback, kneeling before the Emperor and desperately begging him to stop drinking that wine from the Ponix region effective immediately. The Emperor realized it was a specialty wine from Gilbert's territory, gifted to the royals as a tribute. Noah explained that the wine itself was actually fine, and drinking it regularly was even a health buff. However, if you combo this wine with Dragon Claw, a delicacy that both the Emperor and Crown Prince Albert eat once a year during the ancestor worship ritual, it transforms into a literal instant kill poison. Noah analyzed that since Gilbert gifted the wine a year ago and the Emperor had been sipping it daily with zero issues, nobody would suspect a thing. But the second the Emperor and the Crown Prince sat down to eat the Dragon Claw together, the toxin would auto-activate. If anyone caught a nick and questioned it, the whole drama would just be covered up as a food poisoning accident. The Emperor instantly caught Noah's drift. If he and Albert went through with the ritual like normal, both father and son would be logging out of life together. Noah confirmed that was 100% facts. The Emperor gave Noah some clout, praising him for the timely report, and immediately ordered his guard crews to summon Henry and send the squad to surround Gilbert's mansion for a raid that very night. Noah was told to stand down, and his rewards would be dropped later. That same night, Gilbert officially caught those silver bracelets. His entire toxic history was exposed, including illegal experiments using smuggled slaves to test poison stats. The plot to delete the Emperor and snatch the throne was hard-blocked thanks to Noah's warning. Even though the drama was wrapped up, Noah still felt like something was sus. The Emperor finally revealed his cards, admitting he knew about the assassination plot all along and hadn't taken a single sip of that poison wine. He glazed Noah one more time for having such main character foresight. Using this excuse, the Emperor promoted Noah to Vice Minister of the Military and handed over the seal of the Governor General of the 1st Legion, aka the Royal Guards. He wanted Noah in the commander's seat of the guards to help filter and pick the most valid successor for the throne. That's episode 9 of this masterpiece, fam. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the palace drama in the next part, and hop over to the new video to keep grinding. Meanwhile, back at the court, Noah and Albert get summoned by the Emperor. The tea is boiling. Gilbert has been officially cancelled for a failed assassination attempt to snatch the throne, and the receipts are 100% verified. Albert just shakes his head at the mess, basically thinking, this dude is such a rookie. He let his greed outrun his logic, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The Emperor turns to his 2 advisors for their take. Noah steps up first, flexing some major legal risk. Technically, the law says attempting to delete the Emperor earns you a one-way ticket to being sliced in half. It's a top-tier felony, even a prince isn't safe from meeting his ancestors. But then, Noah pulls a big brain U-turn. However, if we pivot the charge to attempted murder, it's still a death sentence, but with a stay of execution. He stays on ice until your majesty decides it's time to pull the plug. Albert is just like, why the extra steps? A logout is a logout, just finish him now. But the Emperor shuts that down, praising Noah's elite EQ. Noah isn't just playing by the book, he's reading the room. He knows that even though the Emperor is the boss, he's still a dad who isn't ready to send his own son to the Shadow Realm just yet. Keeping him locked up for life is the ultimate win-win. The Emperor is low-key loving this vibe but keeps his poker face on. Still, Albert drops one final condition: his whole squad has to be deleted, no survivors. The Emperor agrees and hands the cleanup task to Albert. Albert dips, leaving the Emperor and Noah to talk one-on-one. The Emperor wants to reward Noah for actually getting him, so he offers to pass the torch of Gilbert's territory over to him since Gilbert won't be using it anyway. Noah gives that a hard pass immediately. Are you for real? If I take a reward for leaking secret intel, it looks super sus. The other princes will start beefing over who gets the most clout, and the whole system will crash. The Emperor nods, seeing the logic, and cancels the land transfer. Switching gears, the Emperor starts nagging Noah to get married since he's moving out soon. Imagine being 12 and already facing marriage pressure. That's that royal family struggle. The first wife is basically a guaranteed political play, social status is the main vibe, and love is just a side quest. The Emperor suggests the favorite niece of the Thunder King. Rumor has it a fortune teller predicted that if these two collab, they'll birth a literal superhero who's even more cracked than Noah. Noah likes the sound of that and locks in the deal, marrying someone that high tier. Say less, the Emperor promises to start the engagement process immediately. Noah stays chill and heads out. As soon as he's gone, Noel whispers to the Emperor, this kid is actually built different, straight up unreal. Most kids his age would be dying to know what their future wife looks like, but Noah, he's acting like it's just another Tuesday. The Emperor is low-key losing sleep over it, asking Noel, you think Noah's kid will actually be more cracked than he is? Noel's response is basically a shrug. Who knows? At this point, all we can do is pray. Later that day, Dawn is dragged in front of Noah, crying and begging for mercy for accidentally joining the villain arc. The guy thinks he's about to get deleted and asks for a quick exit. Noah just waves him off. Hold up, who said anything about killing you? I'm not really into the whole execution vibe. To Noah, people are assets, and he's not about to waste a good resource. Noah calls Dawn over to drop 3 major updates. Your old boss has been cancelled, the faction is cooked, and you don't need to live like a ghost or change your name anymore. The standard bounty for the snitch was 1,000 Rand, but I'm adding an extra 0 to that straight out of my own pocket. Dawn is glitching, thinking he heard wrong. Noah explains, you helped save my father's life, that carries way more weight than some basic reward. Noah then asks Dawn what his next move is. He could head back to the palace, but Noah wants to hear what he actually wants for himself. Dawn immediately pledges his life to Noah, promising to be his ride or die and follow every order. Noah is satisfied with the loyalty. Afterward, Noah meets with Zoe to let her know her mom is safe. Zoe is basically crying in the club, touched that Noah remembered her family despite having a million royal tasks on his plate. The next day, while Noah is out on the streets, Gigi nudges him and points to a crowd in the center. A girl has set up a marriage combat ring. For a 3 Rian entry fee, if you beat her, you get whatever you want, a wife, a servant, you name it. Noah calculates the legality. Self-selling isn't against the law, so, bet. A tough guy lunges in only to get folded in a single frame. A bunch of other main characters try their luck and meet the same fate. The girl doesn't even break a sweat. The crowd goes silent until a blonde dude pushes to the front, yapping loudly, I'm not even paying the fee because I'm already the winner. But as soon as he charges, the girl's body goes limp, and her reflexes completely lag. The guy lands a heavy blow to her stomach, and she drops instantly. Before he can celebrate, Noah steps out to call Cap. You're playing dirty, you used a numbing agent, and you had your goon snipe her leg from the sidelines. The blonde guy spins around, trying to gaslight the crowd. Noah doesn't even bother arguing. He pulls out Leviathan and binks the sniper right out of his hiding spot, dropping him in front of everyone. The crowd recognizes him immediately. It's Rob, the blonde guy's henchman. Exposed and salty, the blonde dude tries to swing at Noah. Noah stays calm and lands 2 perfect hits, sending the guy face first into the dirt. As soon as he can stand, the guy eats himself out of there, holding his pants and disappearing. The girl eventually wakes up to find Noah sitting by her side. He asks if she remembers what happened, and she explains that mid-fight, her legs just went completely numb. Noah fills her in on the tea that dude had a goon sniping you from the back. Once everything is cleared up, Noah gets curious about why she even started this combat ring in the first place. She drops a sob story. She's broken out of options. She traveled all the way to the capital for the night exams but caught a massive L and failed. Noah finds it hard to believe someone with her stats flunked. She explains that when she went to appeal to the 10th prince, the guy tried to trade a knight position for favors. She told him hard pass because she wanted to earn it, with no cash and no future. The ring was her last-ditch effort to fund a trip back home. Noah asks, still want to be a knight? She nods instantly. Noah pulls out a bag with 100 Rand and hands it over. Take this and survive until the next exam. The girl is buffering, unable to process why someone would be this generous. Noah just drops a line that's straight fire. I respect people with high standards. Before they can yap any further, Chad the blonde dude from earlier returns with a whole gang for a revenge arc. The girl is ready to throw hands, but Noah tells her to step back. He activates his fire ring combined with his protection ring, creating a pair of god-tier flaming gauntlets. He dives in and wipes Chad's entire squad in a blink. After the beatdown, the crowd notices a knight from the 10th prince's squad who had been lurking and watching the whole time without helping. Once he gets a closer look and realizes he's staring at the 13th prince, Noah, he hits the floor begging for mercy. Noah has already read the room. He gives the guy a stern warning and leaves him to deal with Chad's mess. The girl is absolutely shook. Noah is the legendary wise prince everyone talks about. Everything suddenly makes sense. What impresses her most is that someone with Noah's clout would hide his identity just to do the right thing for a stranger without flexing. As Noah starts to head out, a man sitting on a nearby bench starts slow clapping, praising him young, talented, and a rare find. Noah is confused until he spots a golden gourd next to the man. This is Indra Ararat, the Thunder King. Noah immediately bows. Indra's profile is basically legendary tier. Decades ago, when the previous emperor took the throne and the country was glitching, Indra carried the whole team as regent. 5 years later, once the emperor was ready, Indra stepped down instantly with 0 complaints. The title Thunder comes from that era, symbolizing a new age. Noah wonders, why is someone of this caliber sitting on a bench sipping tea in the street? Indra knows Noah has already identified him and gets straight to the point. The emperor trusts you, so I'm chill with that. But this involves my favorite niece, so I had to personally check VAR and see if the hype is real. Noah asks, what if I failed the vibe check? Indra replies coldly, then the wedding is cancelled. Noah counters, that's technically defying the emperor's orders. Indra just shrugs. I follow other orders, but when it comes to my niece, I say no. Noah catches the vibe. Indra isn't thirsty for power, he's just a protective uncle making sure his niece isn't marrying a fraud. Noah asks with total confidence, so, did I pass the vibe check? Indra smirks. The test starts now. Suddenly, a crushing pressure slams into Noah, exactly like the heavy aura he feels from Leviathan. This is Indra's real evaluation. Noah's brain hits 5G speed. If he uses Leviathan, he wins easily, but embarrassing the Thunder King in public would be a major L for diplomacy. He decides to play it cool and act a little, forcing a draw. Indra looks at Noah, clearly impressed. He knows for a fact Noah threw the match, and Noah knows Indra caught him. The mental telepathy between them is off the charts. Indra nods, officially giving his blessing for the marriage, and Noah accepts. Indra is so hyped he invites everyone out for drinks, but before they dip, he tosses Noah a ring as a gift. Noah thinks it's just some mid-tier loot until he picks it up and a deep voice booms, prove your worth, kid. Suddenly, reality glitches, and Noah is standing in a wasteland. A massive magic bull charges at him like a runaway truck. Noah pulls Leviathan and one hits the beast. Checking the stats, Noah's light skill just skyrocketed to see the bull surrenders immediately, acknowledging Noah as its master. The vision fades, and Noah is back in the real world. Indra explains that beast is behemoth, and its power scales with its owner. Noah puts the ring on and accidentally brushes against a teapot. Indra's jaw drops, the pot turns into solid gold and starts pouring a glowing golden liquid. Indra is completely shook. Even in his prime, he never actually tamed Behemoth. Noah just did it in a single frame. Noah summons a mini version of Behemoth and drops the game plan. It's time to pit it against his other magic gear to farm XP. He lines up Leviathan, Hiwa, and Luir for the grind, but then, something legendary happens. For 1,000 years, these 4 artifacts have never been in the same room. Now that they've finally reunited, a brilliant, warm golden light begins to radiate from all of them. Noah just stands there buffering, having no idea what kind of plot armor he just activated. His main character aura is literally blinding the Thunder King right now. What is the deal with this mysterious golden glow from the 4 legendary relics? Is it a buff or a warning? Stay tuned to find out. If you're loving the drama, smash that like button, lock in your subscription, and ring that bell so you don't miss the tea in episode 11. Peace out. Suddenly, Noah starts hearing his magic gear spilling the tea right next to him. The voices sound weirdly familiar, and it turns out one of them belongs to the OG, Leviathan. This guy is straight up venting about how long it's been since the whole squad gathered to gossip about the world. Seeing this, Hiwa starts throwing shade. Looks like Leviathan is low-key simping for Noah now. Just look at how it's catering to him. Noah snaps out of it, realizing he's back in the real world after a brief spiritual trip. He thought he was hallucinating, but it's 100% real because the locals heard those voices booming from the sky too. They're convinced it's a sign from above that the heavens are checking VAR and have total faith in Noah. Even Lord Indra is impressed as hell. He says with drama this big, they need to throw a rager immediately. To keep the vibes high, Noah drops a money move, ordering Ziggy to hand out 10 reen to everyone there as a blessing. The villagers are losing it, cheering like it's a festival. Noah truly is the money king, and his clout is undisputed. Right then, the girl Noah rescued earlier steps up, kneeling to press him on his help. She says, "I want to be your knight one day, so I have to grind on my own to be worthy of serving you." Noah shuts that down instantly with a hard no. He tells her, second-tier knights usually reject help because their egos are too big. They think accepting a hand makes them look weak. That's a cooked mindset, babe. Noah drops some major wisdom. If you want to be top tier, don't be afraid to take help. Accepting support only makes you stronger. Then he delivers the final blow. If you want to serve me, you only need one thing: give me your heart and stay loyal. That's it. The girl stands up, gives a soft smile, and skedaddles with a whole new level of determination. Indra is just standing there glitched out, unable to believe a kid as young as Noah can talk with that much confidence and boomer life experience. Just as the vibes are peaking, the Emperor spawns out of nowhere, making everyone freeze for 5 seconds. From Noah and Indra down to the peasants, everyone hits the floor for a mandatory respect your elders moment. The Emperor turns to Indra to flex. See how cracked Noah is? I told you him and my niece are a 100% match, a power couple made in heaven. After that, the Emperor says, "Alright besties, we're outside the palace, skip the formalities, everyone, stand up." As soon as they get up, Noah pulls another unreal stunt. He summons Luir's true form right in front of the crowd. The villagers are completely shook. Not stopping there, Noah taps into Leviathan's power, pulsing a massive energy vibe across the entire area. The wave doesn't do any damage, but it makes everyone respect and worship Noah like he's a literal god. Noah checks the surroundings and sees zero hostile intent or combat vibes, so he's chill. Indra praises him, "You're calm as hell for your age. I'm betting you're definitely the #1 prince." The Emperor smirks, "That's why I gave him the wise title." He's about to go on his first military expedition solo. The villagers' jaws drop because usually, a prince goes to war with a whole security detail. Noah going solo mode is just straight up legendary. After the hype died down, the Emperor and Indra hopped in a carriage for some low-key venting. The Emperor bragged that Noah is a total genius. He had just announced the solo campaign to give Noah an opening to escort him, and the kid caught the vibe immediately without even being told. Indra was floored, like, "Wait, I didn't see any of that." The Emperor trolled him back, "That's because you're always drifting and living in your own world, so of course you missed it." Inside the carriage, the Emperor dropped a bombshell. He's planning to deplatform the Crown Prince because the guy just doesn't have the main character energy to rule. Indra asked for receipts, and the Emperor linked it to the Gilbert drama. Meanwhile, Noah was outside, eavesdropping at 5G speed. Noah flashed back to when he convinced the Emperor to give Gilbert a life sentence instead of a permanent logout, but the trade-off was that the Crown Prince had to be deleted from the line of succession. Indra pointed out that if the Crown Prince ever took the throne, a massive purge would be inevitable. Henry, Oscar, and Noah would be the first targets on the list to get cancelled. The Emperor agreed, saying he can't let that type of toxicity take over the empire, but now he's stressing because he doesn't know who to pick as a replacement. He's getting up there in age, and if he logs out without a successor, the whole country is basically cooked. The Emperor admitted he's already picked a favorite, but if he leaks the name now, a massive political drama will erupt. Indra argued that even a conflict is better than leaving the seat empty. This is when Noah dropped a big brain hack. Just announce that you've already prepared a will and the successor's name is locked inside. Indra countered, what if you die and some hater photoshops a fake will? Noah doubled down with the ultimate move, then hide the will. Inside the emperor himself, create a fake tooth with the successor's name engraved on it. Since the tooth stays in your mouth 24/7, nobody can swap it out. The emperor praised Noah for being absolutely cracked, so the squad moved forward with the tooth-based succession plan. As soon as they hit the palace, the emperor dragged them into his office and cleared out all the servants to talk business. Indra spotted one servant still standing there and caught a nick, but Klaus explained, this is the communicator, he's triple blind, he doesn't hear, doesn't speak, and most importantly, he's illiterate. Basically, he's a living mailbox who can't leak tea. The emperor told Klaus to skedaddle and locked the door for 100% privacy. The emperor turned to Noah and said he's locking in the tooth will plan. Before Noah could even celebrate, he dropped a massive power nerf on himself. He suggested the emperor should recall all military authority, including Henry's minister position and Noah's own governor-general seat. Indra's brain hit a lightbulb moment. If someone with an army decides to reverse Uno the throne, the emperor is toast. Collecting all the military clout into one hand was the only safe play. Indra was slightly shook that Noah was willing to downgrade his own status just to keep the empire valid. The emperor approved instantly, signed the order to strip Noah of his governor-general rank, and handed it over. Then, he wrote a secret order for Oscar and gave it to the illiterate communicator using simple hand signs. Noah watched closely and realized this guy was probably trained only for specific tasks. Indra then asked the lethal question, so, what are we doing about Crown Prince Albert? Noah just pressed him gently, the choice is yours, Dad. You're the boss. If you want to fire someone, just fire them. Noah breaks it down, Albert hasn't committed a blatant felony like Gilbert did, so the move is to just let him exist as a regular prince, no need to go full villain arc and delete him. The emperor nods, agreeing to announce that Albert didn't technically commit treason, but his seat as crown prince is officially cancelled because the trust is zero. The emperor starts drafting the abdication order, but since he's in his feels about firing his own son, his handwriting is a total mess. Noah spots the shaky penmanship and drops a suggestion, Dad, leave it exactly like that. That messy handwriting is receipts for how heartbroken you are. When Albert reads it, he'll actually feel the guilt. The emperor is high-key loving the vibe, signs it, and hands it to the illiterate communicator. But then, plot twist, the supposedly clueless servant finishes reading the paper and has a visible reaction. Noah checks bar instantly, hold up. Wait a minute, I thought you couldn't read, but you just processed that at 5G speed. The guy realizes he's caught in 4K and tries to bolt, but Leviathan delivers a quick physical interaction, folding him on the spot. Noah exposes the fraud. This guy's been literate the whole time, he's been gaslighting you, Dad. The emperor is absolutely tilted, summoning Klaus to roast him for his skill issue in hiring. Klaus hits the floor, begging for mercy for the bad scouting. Noah passes the verdict, the communicator gets permanently logged out for lying to the crown, and Klaus catches a 6-month salary nerf for the lack of supervision. RIP to Klaus's wallet. That night, Noel reports that the mole has been successfully sent to the Shadow Realm. Noel is also hyped that Leviathan is starting to lend Noah its power, convinced that Noah is about to outplay the entire Golden Age. The emperor smirks, satisfied, and vows to keep a close eye on his genius son. The next day, Noah hops in a carriage with Shirley. Suddenly, Shirley gets chatty, asking where the boss is heading with such a deep look on his face. Noah is low-key surprised because she's usually a silent protagonist type, but he answers anyway, going to visit Big Bro Albert. Meanwhile, it's Friday night, the night Noah usually goes to see Alice's performance. Alice is feeling the ick because her number one fan isn't there, reminiscing about their memories while she sings her heart out. Noah hits up Albert's mansion, acting like a good kid and apologizing for the unannounced visit. Albert is like, we're bros, don't worry about it, and leads Noah to the garden for some private tea. Noah drops some fake news that sounds 100% legit. Dad's planning to hit the north to dodge the heat like usual, but this time he wants you to go with him. Albert is completely shook. Usually, the crown prince stays behind to grind and gain CEO experience. Taking him along is a clear sign. Dad wants him on a short leash to check VAR before firing him. Albert asks, how much do you actually know? Noah plays the innocent card. Dad just vaguely said he wants you to learn how to rule. I thought he was passing down the secret sauce so you could take the throne soon. After hearing that, Albert stands up, thanks Noah for the intel, and walks off with a face like he's about to start a war. Zero joy detected. Job done. Noah gets back to the capital just in time for Alice's next set. Alice sees him and goes beast mode, singing like her life depends on it for her favorite fan. It's a total musical rager for Noah and the crowd. But late that night, Zoe walks in to announce a visitor named Olivia Coyle. The name is random to Noah, but he knows Zoe doesn't let NPCs in at this hour, so he agrees to the meeting. Olivia walks in and drops a literal nuclear bomb. Prince Albert is planning to reverse Uno the throne and force the emperor to abdicate tonight. The vibes are officially critical. Is Albert really about to jump the emperor tonight? What will Noah do, save the day or use the chaos to claim the throne for himself? Smash the like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the epic finale. Peace out, fam. In episode 12, according to Olivia, Prince Albert is cooking up a major reverse Uno move. He's planning to force the emperor to abdicate the throne right here, right now. Noah is low-key buffering after hearing the news and asks Olivia how she's got all the insider tea. Olivia explains she's the daughter of Coyle, a former staffer for the ex-first prince, Gilbert. Turns out, she's legacy tier born and raised in the mansion, so her loyalty and dedication are the real deal, no cap. Olivia confesses that she knows Noah spared Gilbert's life, and it hits her different seeing Albert still choosing the villain arc despite everything. The night before Albert was officially cancelled as the crown prince, she eavesdropped on him plotting a military takeover to seize the palace and force the emperor off the hot seat so he could claim it for himself. Noah takes a deep breath to reset his vibes. Olivia hits the floor, begging Noah to do whatever he wants with her as long as he stops Albert's madness. Surprisingly, Noah locks in the deal instantly. He asks what her old job was at Albert's place, and she says she was a trainee butler under her dad. So, Noah hires her for the exact same spot at his mansion, same bag, 0 pay cuts. Olivia is stuck buffering, not getting why Noah is being such a G. He tells her it's because he high-key respects her loyalty. Even after her old boss lost his clout, she was still ready to risk it all for revenge. As soon as she swears her life to Noah, he knows it's 100% facts because his dark magic stat immediately jumps by a point. Right after that, Noah storms out of the room. Zoe and Gigi are standing by and see he's in a rush, so they offer to prep the carriage. But Noah drops a main character line: he doesn't need a ride, he's going solo to keep the pace up. Looks like the big bro has a god-tier plan to ambush Albert. Zoe is starting to spiral, worried Noah might catch some physical interaction, get hurt, but he just looks back and drops a cold line: trust the process, I've got this handled from A to Z. Zoe bows, promising to wait for him to come home for dinner. Noah hops on his horse and yeets out of there. He calculates that if Albert wants to use muscle to snatch the throne, he'll have to lead the squad from the Department of Infantry. There are thousands of troops there trained to follow orders without question. If the boss says go east, they don't even look west. At the scene, Albert is giving a TED talk to the troops, claiming the current emperor is washed and totally outdated. He's gaslighting the soldiers into thinking the empire only has a bright future if he's in the driver's seat. Just as they're about to deploy, Noah spawns out of nowhere, telling Albert to hold up, bestie. Albert asks why he's lurking, and Noah drops a trigger warning: stop right there, bro. This path only leads to an early logout. Don't do something mid. Albert's response is pure crash out energy: don't care, didn't ask. I'm not surrendering without throwing hands one last time. Instead of going full John Wick on thousands of troops, Noah chooses the high road approach, using Leviathan's power to put the entire crowd to sleep in a single frame. Just as he's about to chase down Albert, a mysterious voice echoes in his head, telling him to use the true name to unlock the ultimate buff. Noah takes a beat, then shouts the name Bahamut. Instantly, a massive, fire-breathing entity spawns in, leaving the soldiers and Albert completely glitched out from fear. Bahamut is seconds away from roasting the opposition when Noah calls for a hard stop. He's not about to catch unnecessary bodies. Bahamut despawns back into the ring, leaving nothing but the smell of smoke and absolute terror. Noah walks straight up to Albert and declares it's GG. Albert starts spiraling, screaming that he'll never let his little brother delete him. But Noah sets the record straight: he's not throwing hands because the emperor isn't about that family-on-family violence. Instead, Noah hands over a vial of poison and tells Albert to sip and end it himself. Noah's logic is actually 5D chess. If Noah kills Albert, his entire family and squad get executed for treason. If Albert self-deletes, the PR team can rebrand the story: he planned to take the palace but felt instant regret and took his own life. This is the only way Noah can gatekeep the lives of Albert's wife, kids, and soldiers. Our guy's strategic planning is truly off the charts. Albert, showing he's a total L dad, doesn't even care about his family. He frantically orders his troops to jump Noah. But surprise, surprise, the troops pull a massive reverse Uno, grabbing Albert and telling him, big bro, just sip the juice for our sake. They beg him to take Noah's offer because it's the only meta path for their families to survive. When Albert tries to stay in his crash-out era, a soldier screams in his face, leaking a horrific secret: Albert sacrificed 120 lives to the miasma just to unseal Leviathan. Noah is stuck buffering for 5 seconds, unable to believe his brother was that toxic. Finally, the knights announce Albert is ready to accept his fate even though he's squirming like a fish out of water. Noah calls Olivia over and hands her the vial. Olivia takes it and slowly stalks toward Albert with a look of pure, unadulterated smoke in her eyes. Noah is actually surprised by how stubborn this guy is, telling Albert he's totally misread the emperor. The facts are, the emperor did everything to keep him in the server. His handwriting was literally shaking from heartbreak when he signed the abdication. But Albert isn't hearing it, he just starts gassing himself up. I've spent my whole life waiting to wear that crown and have the world stand me as king. After years of grinding, this is the bitter end I get. He views the emperor as a selfish old man desperately clinging to the throne. In Albert's eyes, being demoted to a regular prince is a massive skill issue and a total embarrassment. Meanwhile, for any normal NPC, being a prince is already a top-tier title with enough clout to change lives. Seeing Noah standing in his way, Albert orders his remaining loyalists to bag Noah and frame him as the traitor. The soldiers lunge in, trying to press Noah with zero chill. But Noah is playing on a completely different level. He's dodging and counter-attacking like it's a tutorial mission. He realizes these NPCs aren't actually the villains, they're just hard-coded to follow the boss's orders, no matter how toxic they are. After cleaning up his brother's mess, Noah switches into director mode to rewrite the script for the public. He sees in the story perfectly Albert planned a coup, but thanks to the bravery of his loyal squad and some family intel, the plot was shut down before it even went live. Because of this big brain script, the soldiers and the snitches get rewards instead of a permanent logout. Albert's family stays safe and valid. Noah even plays the long game by nominating Albert's son as a potential future successor. Noah's stats hit a massive spike after this, making him realize these troops are actually high-tier assets. He drops a deep line: people are the ultimate treasure. Albert failed because he treated everyone like they were disposable. Meanwhile, down in the vault, Noel checks in and finds the Emperor. The relic box suddenly reacts, proof that Noah has officially unlocked the god mode power of Leviathan. When the news hits that Albert has self-deleted, the Emperor tells Noel to step out so he can have a moment of silence. But in reality, the old man is low-key glazing Noah for such a peak performance, handling the drama perfectly while keeping the Empire's clout intact. With both Gilbert and Albert officially out of the server, the Mir Empire enters a total golden age of peace. Flash forward 3 years, Gigi and Zoe are hyped after receiving gifts and letters from Evelyn. Noah is about to hit his 15th birthday, and his gift pile is so massive it's literally filling 2 entire rooms. The big bro's influence is no joke. He's been helping people everywhere, and now the karma is paying out in full. While Noah is out in the forest doing some limit break training, Audrey spawns in. She's officially his fiancée now, and she's already waifu tier, bringing him tea and snacks. She even flexes that as of today, she's officially taken Noah's last name, making her the one for real. On the other side of the map, Indra is talking shop with the Emperor. The shortlist for the throne is down to just 3 names: Henry, Oscar, and Noah. However, Indra has a massive gut feeling that Noah is the chosen one. The episode wraps with Noah being seen off by his squad of servants and his top-tier fiancée, Audrey, as he heads to the coronation ceremony. I mean, we all know who's actually sitting on that throne, right? Noah's journey from a bottom-tier prince to the literal peak of the empire has been an absolute banger. How many points are you giving Noah for that win-win strategy? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on more fire recaps. Peace out, fam.